Chapter 427. Looking at this towering tree that was the size of a continent, everyone was so shocked that they couldn't shift their eyes away. Those who came to participate in the convention of the Myriad Realms were all major characters of the Myriad Realms. They had seen countless divine trees before, but this was the first time they saw such a huge tree. The number one divine tree in the universe, the creation tree. It was also known as the creation tree. Creation tree, it's really the creation tree? Lu Yiping actually recovered the vitality of the creation tree. A commotion broke out. Everyone was agitated and even excited. The Queen Mother was also stunned when she saw the creation tree. Not only did Lu Yiping recover the vitality of the creation tree, he even found the main body of the creation tree. When Hao Yin, who was smashed into the ground, saw the creation tree, his eyes were also filled with shock. He knew that Lu Yiping had recovered the vitality of the creation tree, but he didn't expect that the creation tree would grow to such an extent. Looking at the creation tree, Hao Yin, who originally still had a trace of hope, couldn't help but have a look of despair on his face. At this moment, Lu Yiping controlled the billions of roots of the creation tree and whipped them towards the Heavenly Court's army. The billions of roots of the creation tree were like divine whips. The Heavenly Court's experts were all sent flying. As for the Heavenly Court's army, they were all turned into blood mist. The roots of the creation tree were even stronger than saint weapons. In addition to Lu Yiping's infusion of saint energy, how could the Heavenly Court's army defend against it? As the billions of roots of the creation tree swept past, a large portion of the Heavenly Court's army was wiped out. This time around, more than billions of soldiers had died. Upon seeing a large portion of the Heavenly Court's army being wiped out, everyone drew in a breath of cold air. Lu Yiping's expression was cold. He transformed into a towering giant and held the creation tree in his hand as he directly slammed it towards the Heavenly Court's army. A moment later, the creation tree rushed into the Heavenly Court's army. A large area the size of a continent was blasted open, extending all the way to the end of the Heavenly Court's army. The Celestial Court's army consisted of the Celestial Court's most elite soldiers and generals. Any one of their legions could destroy a realm. But now half of them had been wiped out by Lu Yiping in just a few moves. The rest of the Heavenly Court army looked at Lu Yiping in horror. Although they were loyal to Lu Yiping, the power that Lu Yiping had just displayed was simply too terrifying. Suddenly, Lu Yiping's body flickered with lightning, and a sea of lightning condensed around him. The sea of lightning instantly expanded into a boundless sea of lightning, and with a roar, it surged towards the remaining Heavenly Court army. The Heavenly Court's army fled in fear. However, the Heavenly Court's army was instantly engulfed by the sea of lightning. Within a few breaths, it was completely devoured. By the time the sea of lightning stopped at the end of the sky, the rest of the Heavenly Court's army had completely disappeared. At this point, the Heavenly Court's army was completely annihilated. Lu Yiping retrieved the Jianshu and Mount Buzhou, then came in front of Hao Yin and pulled him out from the ground. Hao Yin looked at Lu Yiping, unable to hide the fear in his heart. Lord Lu. Hao Yin opened his mouth with difficulty. I know you're looking for the Yinba Holy Lord. I can tell you everything I know about the Yinba Holy Lord. Oh, the Yinba Holy Lord. Lu Yiping looked at him. Seeing Lu Yiping's interest, Hao Yin felt hopeful and said, That's right, and I know that the Yinba Holy Lord has many creation jade discs. Lu Yiping was not surprised to hear this. As the head of the Myriad Realms, the Immortal Realm not only had the strongest army, but also the strongest intelligence network. Therefore, it was normal for Hao Yin to know about the Yinba Holy Lord. Seeing Hao Yin's hopeful eyes, Lu Yiping sealed his power and threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth. If he wanted to know the whereabouts of the Yinba Holy Lord, he could just search Hao Yin's memory fragments. Then Lu Yiping picked up the Heavenly Court's saints one by one, sealed their power, and threw them into the cauldron of heaven and earth. Of course, the Bell of Chaos as well as their sacred artifacts and supreme treasures were all taken away. That's it? Seeing Lu Yiping put away the Bell of Chaos, everyone could not calm down. This outcome was beyond everyone's expectations. Everyone thought that Lu Yiping would not be able to escape, but they did not expect that the Heavenly Court would lose. And lose so completely. More than 400 saints and hundreds of millions of soldiers were all annihilated. As for the saints of Hao Yin, they were all captured. After putting away the Bell of Chaos, Lu Yiping turned and flew toward the entrance of the Thunder Prison of Tribulation. Soon he arrived at the entrance of the Thunder Prison of Tribulation and flashed in. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping's disappearing figure with mixed feelings. I'm afraid the immortal world is going to be in chaos. An invincible celestial venerable of the immortal world sighed. Now that the heavenly court of the immortal world had lost the saints of Haoyin, the heavenly court would definitely be in chaos and the immortal world would definitely be in chaos. Moreover, the Yinba race in the demon world had been eyeing the immortal world covetously. Now that the saints of Haoyin were gone, the Yinba race in the demon world would definitely invade the immortal world en masse. Another invincible celestial venerable said in a low voice, with the heaven and earth saint around, the Yinba race in the demon world would probably not dare to invade the immortal world. If news of this battle spread, the Yinba race's holy lord would definitely be too scared to come out. How would they dare to invade the immortal world unless they wanted to be killed by Lu Yiping like Haoyin? The heaven and earth saint cannot stay in the immortal world forever. The invincible celestial venerable shook his head and said, when the heaven and earth saint leaves the immortal world, the Yinba race's holy lord will definitely come out and cause trouble. Then he pointed to the sky and said, I heard that the heaven and earth saint actually came from there. He will definitely go back when the time comes. Everyone's expression changed. You mean the heaven and earth saint came from the chaos realm? A sect's old ancestor stammered, but the chaos realm is just a legend. Legend? Everyone was silent. Although the chaos realm was a legend, many people believed in its existence. Seeing Lu Yiping enter the Thunder Tribulation prison, the Queen Mother hesitated for a moment. When she was about to enter the Thunder Tribulation prison, she saw that Lu Yiping had already come out of the Thunder Tribulation prison. Behind Lu Yiping was a burly golden retriever, Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao was imprisoned by Haoyin in the Thunder Tribulation prison with layers of restrictions. However, these restrictions were useless against Lu Yiping, so Lu Yiping quickly rescued Taurus Longjiao from the Thunder Tribulation prison. There were many Saint Realm experts imprisoned in the Thunder Tribulation prison, but Lu Yiping did not rescue the others. Seeing Lu Yiping come out, the Queen Mother opened her mouth and was about to call him Little Lu, but stopped. Millions of years ago, Lu Yiping had not yet reached the Saint Realm, so it was appropriate to call him Little Lu. However, the strength that Lu Yiping had just shown was so terrifying that it was obviously inappropriate to call him Little Lu. Should she call him Big Brother Lu? Or Big Brother Lu? While the Queen Mother was hesitating, Lu Yiping saw her from afar and nodded to her. The Queen Mother had led the female immortals to help him just now. After greeting the Queen Mother, Lu Yiping turned and flew to the Heavenly Palace's treasury with Taurus Longjiao. Chapter 428. When everyone saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao flying towards the Heavenly Palace's treasury, they could guess what Lu Yiping wanted to do. Thinking of the countless treasures in the Heavenly Palace's treasury, they couldn't help but feel excited. The immortal world was the leader of all worlds. Hao Tian had been in charge of the immortal world's heavenly court for tens of thousands of years. The treasures in the heavenly court's treasury were absolutely shocking. Should we follow them and take a look? One of the fire world's experts, the Flaming Emperor, said. The Flaming Emperor was one of the top 10 experts in the fire world. He was an existence that made people tremble in fear. Forget it. The Lord of the Fire World shook his head. He knew what the Flaming Emperor was planning. He wanted nothing more than to follow Lu Yiping and see if there were any benefits. However, although the Heavenly Palace's treasury was tempting, one had to be alive to take it. Everyone saw Lu Yiping's ruthless methods. He dealt with the Lord of the Immortal World like Hao Tian without batting an eye. Following Lu Yiping to take advantage of the situation was tantamount to courting death. Even so, many experts still followed Lu Yiping from afar, flying towards the Heavenly Palace's treasury. The Heavenly Palace's treasury was guarded by celestial soldiers and celestial generals. When Lu Yiping arrived, he didn't waste any time. He directly destroyed the celestial soldiers and celestial generals with a finger. Then, with a punch, he destroyed the restrictions on the treasury's door and blasted it open. The moment the treasury's door was blasted open, layers of chaotic energy gushed out of the treasury. The auspicious light was astonishing. Clearly, in addition to chaotic items, there were also many sacred items in the treasury. When the experts from various worlds saw the astonishing auspicious light, their eyes burned with passion. Many of them approached the treasury. Taurus Longjiao frowned when he saw the experts from various worlds approaching. He said to Lu Yiping, "Master, how should we deal with these flies?" Lu Yiping turned around and looked at the experts from various worlds behind him. Those experts who were attracted by the auspicious light and chaos chi inside the treasury and couldn't help but come to their senses when they saw Lu Yiping suddenly turn around and look at them. Their faces changed drastically. Just as these people were about to retreat, they saw Lu Yiping snort coldly. Numerous fire dragons appeared out of thin air. There were probably millions of them and they shot towards the opposite side. They were extremely fast and arrived in front of these people in an instant. Retreat! Someone roared. However, as soon as he roared, he was devoured by the fire dragons. The 1,000,000 fire dragons devoured the tens of thousands of experts in the blink of an eye. After devouring these experts, the fire dragons did not stop and continued to charge towards the experts in the distance who had followed them. The experts who had followed along initially thought that they would be fine as they hid in the distance. But now that they saw the 1,000,000 fire dragons charging towards them, their faces changed drastically. Naturally, these peoples were reduced to ashes as deaths. After killing all these people, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao entered the treasury. After entering the treasury, Huang Xiaolong looked around and saw chaos materials blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao began to collect these chaos materials and sacred artifacts. The two walked and collected as they went. Even though the two of them kept collecting along the way, it still took them half a day to reach the depths of the treasury. In the depths of the treasury, Lu Yiping saw another Buzhou sky sword. Previously, he had obtained one Buzhou sky sword when he destroyed the demon god palace of the firmament mainland. He didn't know the whereabouts of the other one. He didn't expect to see it here. Later, he would be able to find the treasures of the archaic celestial court after merging the two Buzhou sky swords. Putting away the Buzhou sky sword, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao continued to collect treasures in the depths of the treasury. In the end, the two of them left the treasury after emptying the treasury. After leaving the treasury, Lu Yiping merged the two Buzhou sky swords into one. The merged Buzhou sky sword doubled in size and emitted sword light. Under Lu Yiping's command, the Buzhou sky sword tore through the air. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao immediately followed the Buzhou sky sword out of the palace. Now that the two swords had merged, they would be able to find the treasures of the archaic celestial court as long as they followed the Buzhou sky sword. The archaic celestial court ruled the myriad worlds. Therefore, the treasures of the archaic celestial court were far from what Clear Heaven's palace treasures could compare to. Clear Heaven was only the master of the immortal world, while the archaic celestial emperor was the master of myriad worlds. In addition, Lu Yiping suspected that the archaic celestial court's treasures contained the creation jade disc, and there might even be more than one. When the Queen Mother saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao coming out of the treasury, she originally wanted to go up and chat with them. However, she saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao leaving the heavenly palace. Their figures grew further and further away before disappearing into the horizon. Everyone waited for Lu Yiping to leave before they started to discuss amongst themselves. Queen Mother, why don't we return to the Kunlun Mountains first? The maid Little Red saw the Queen Mother standing there unmoving for a long time. She went up and asked carefully. The Queen Mother retracted her gaze, her interest waning. She didn't say anything and flew away. When the female immortals saw this, they followed behind the Queen Mother. After the Queen Mother left, the experts from the various worlds also left with their disciples. The convention of the myriad realms would be held the day after tomorrow. But now, it was impossible for the convention to be held. As the experts from the various worlds left, the heavenly palace became much more deserted. As for Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, they followed the Buzhou sky sword and flew away. Finally, they exited the immortal world and came to a vast starry space. This vast starry space was filled with stars. But other than that, it was completely empty. There was nothing else here. However, the Buzhou sky sword actually stopped here. Taurus Longjiao had a puzzled look in his eyes. He used his divine sense to search, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find anything. Lu Yiping spoke, "You won't be able to find anything like this." As he spoke, his gaze landed on one of the stars. This star was the most inconspicuous one among the hundreds of thousands of stars in this vast starry space. When Lu Yiping's gaze landed on this star, the light from the star suddenly surged. After that, a beam of starlight shot out, illuminating a star on the other side. After that, that star also shot out a beam of starlight, illuminating the star on the other side. Just like this, one star connected to another. The starlight from the stars lit up one after another. When the last star lit up, the starlight in the sky suddenly poured down like a torrential downpour. Under the torrential downpour of starlight, numerous palaces appeared in the originally empty starry space. Very soon, this starry space was filled with countless palaces. Taurus Longjiao stared blankly at the palaces that appeared. "Let's go." Lu Yiping flew up and flew towards the palaces. Taurus Longjiao regained his senses and followed after him. Luckily, its master. If others obtained the Buzhou sky sword, they wouldn't be able to find the treasures of the supreme ancient heavenly court here. Just when Lu Yiping wanted to speak, the creation jade disc in his body suddenly trembled. Chapter 429. Lu Yiping was overjoyed when he sensed the changes in the fortune jade disc. As he had guessed, the fortune jade disc was in the immemorial heavenly court's treasury. Moreover, from the reaction of the fortune jade disc, there was more than one fortune jade disc. Following the direction of his senses, Lu Yiping arrived above a palace in the deepest part of the treasury. Looking down from above, this palace was several times larger than the surrounding palaces. Moreover, it had a different kind of aura, as if it was a king surrounded by a group of people. Lu Yiping and Wuxia landed in front of the palace. Heaven. The word heaven was written above the palace's gate. This word contained the supreme great Tao. Standing before it, people were like ants in the world. Taurus Longjiao felt an invisible pressure pressing down on him, making it difficult for him to move. It seems that the immemorial heavenly emperor had already comprehended the great Tao of heaven. Taurus Longjiao said while looking at the word. Although the great Tao of heaven was not one of the 10 supreme great Taos, it was still one of the top 10 great Taos. Therefore, even if there were no other restrictions in this palace, just the word heaven was enough to stop many saints. Even Taurus Longjiao could not enter. However, a mere heaven was not enough to stop Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping raised his hand and struck the word with his palm. Immediately, the word caved in, sinking deep into the palace's gate. Taurus Longjiao's body lightened, the pressure from before disappearing without a trace. Lu Yiping stepped forward and pushed the palace's gate. The gate opened and the two stepped inside. From the outside, the palace only occupied a few miles, but after entering, it was extremely spacious. There was a huge square in front of them, a square the size of a city. On the square there were huge jade pillars carved with all kinds of totems. The two flew forward. After flying for a few minutes, they passed through the square and arrived at a vast hall. The doors to the hall were open and Lu Yiping went straight in. In the center of the hall was a throne with lifelike carvings of dragons and phoenixes. Whether it was the floor or the surrounding walls, they were all made of the most precious materials of chaos. Taurus Longjiao sighed as he looked at the empty Lingxiao palace that used to be filled with experts from various realms. Lu Yiping's gaze fell on the jade box on the table in front of the throne. The good fortune jade disc was in that jade box. Arriving in front of the throne, Lu Yiping picked up the jade box and broke the restriction on it. When he opened the lid, he saw 4 good fortune jade discs placed in the 4 cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west. Looking at the 4 good fortune jade discs in front of him, Lu Yiping smiled. Over the years, he'd searched almost every realm and only found 7 good fortune jade discs. Including the first one he'd found when he was born, he only had 8. Now that he'd found 4, it was a pleasant surprise. Lu Yiping put away the 4 good fortune jade discs and then went to the treasury of the primeval celestial court with Taurus Longjiao. Lu Yiping wasn't disappointed. The treasury contained the spring of life that he'd been painstakingly searching for. There was quite a bit of it, enough for Lu Yiping to squander for a few years. Over the years, after Lu Yiping's nurturing, the first 3 gourds of the rainbow gourd root had matured. With the spring of life, Lu Yiping could nurture the other 4 gourds to maturity within 1,000 years. Inside the immemorial heavenly court's treasury, there were so many treasures that the dragon horn golden bull was dazzled. Even Lu Yiping couldn't help but exclaim. Although the treasury of the immortal world's celestial palaces was astonishing, 10,000 of them couldn't compare to the treasury of the primeval celestial court. Because the two weren't on the same level. Although the treasures in vast heaven's collection were precious, they paled in comparison to the treasury of the primeval celestial court. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao began collecting the treasures of the primeval celestial court. Lu Yiping didn't leave after collecting the treasures of the primeval celestial court. He directly refined the 4 good fortune jade discs in the treasury. The refinement went smoothly. Each of the 4 good fortune jade discs contained 100 great Tao. If Lu Yiping's great Tao was included, it would be a total of 2,100 great Tao. However, after refining the good fortune jade discs, Lu Yiping wasn't in a hurry to comprehend the great Tao in the 4 good fortune jade discs. Instead, he released Vast Heaven 16. After Vast Heaven was released, he couldn't help but look around in bewilderment. This is the treasury of the primeval celestial court? Vast Heaven asked uncertainly. That's right, Lu Yiping said. Vast Heaven 16 were shocked to hear that Lu Yiping had found the treasury of the primeval celestial court. Lu Yiping didn't waste any time. He directly pulled Vast Heaven in front of him and began to look through his memory fragments. Soon, Lu Yiping finished reading Vast Heaven's memory fragments. Although Vast Heaven knew a lot about the Yinba Holy Lord, he wasn't sure of his exact whereabouts. Vast Heaven could only be sure that the Inba Holy Lord was hiding in the immortal world, but he couldn't find out which sect or clan he was hiding in. Afterward, Lu Yiping looked through the memory fragments of the other 15. Although the other 15 had a lot of information about the Inba Holy Lord, they didn't know where he was either. After not knowing where the Inba Holy Lord was, Lu Yiping summoned Jian Shu and threw Vast Heaven's 16 for Jian Shu to devour. In the midst of their frenzied struggle, the Saint Energy, Great Path Energy, and Saint Body Origin of the 16 people were all completely devoured by Jian Shu. Soon there were 16 more Dao fruits on Jian Shu. Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under Jian Shu, took Vast Heaven's Dao fruit, swallowed it, and began to cultivate with the longevity incantation. As the Lord of the immortal world, Vast Heaven's Saint Power, Great Dao Power, and Saint Body Origin were much stronger than the Confucian saints. Therefore, his Dao fruit was much more effective than the Confucian saints. Suddenly the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head shone brightly. The original 18 acres of auspicious cloud began to expand to 19 acres. When Lu Yiping finished refining Vast Heaven's Dao fruit, the auspicious cloud finally broke through to 19 acres. However, after reaching 19 acres, Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud stopped growing. 19 acres of auspicious cloud was the limit of a saint, so no matter how he cultivated, he couldn't break through. Unless Lu Yiping could break through to the Saint King realm. However, due to the rules of the universe, the highest realm was Saint King realm. Therefore, if Lu Yiping wanted to break through to the Saint King realm, he had to go to the Chaos realm. After the auspicious cloud reached 19 acres, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left the Archean Celestial Court's palace and returned to the demonic Bull Mountain of the immortal world. They went into seclusion to comprehend the great Tao in the 4 creation jade discs. At the same time, Lu Yiping asked the 7 Treasures Chamber of Commerce's president to help him find out everything about the Inba Holy Lord. However, even Vast Heaven couldn't find out where the Inba Holy Lord was, so the 7 Treasures Chamber of Commerce couldn't find out even if they used all their resources. Hundreds of years passed in the blink of an eye. Chapter 430. Over the past several hundred years, Lu Yiping had fully comprehended the great Daos in the 4 newly acquired plates with the help of Jianshu's primordial energy. As for Taurus Longjiao, he'd refined a Dao fruit in the past few hundred years. With the help of Jianshu's primordial energy, his strength had increased considerably. However, despite refining a Dao fruit, Taurus Longjiao was still a long way off from breaking through to the Sage realm. 1 or a few Dao fruits weren't enough to break through to the Sage realm. Otherwise, the primeval celestial court would have been full of sages long ago. Without Hao Yin and the various sages, the celestial court had long since collapsed. The various factions in the world of immortals were in constant conflict, and the flames of war had engulfed the entire world. However, there was no movement from the Yinba race or even the demon realm. Lu Yiping's eldest disciple had moved the entire Tianyuan school to the vicinity of Demon Ox Mountain to avoid being affected by the war in the immortal realm. Even Qin Wanli of the Qin family of the Yaya continent had moved his entire family to the vicinity of Demon Ox Mountain. Currently, only Demon Ox Mountain and its surroundings were unaffected by the flames of war in the entire world of immortals. After fully comprehending the great Daos in the 4 plates, Lu Yiping didn't continue his seclusion. He planned to walk around with Taurus Longjiao and see if they could find the Inba Holy Lord. After all, waiting around like this wasn't a solution. Niu Yi entered just as Lu Yiping was about to go out for a walk. "Master Lu, the Queen Mother is outside. Would you like to see her?" The Queen Mother had visited 7 times in the past few hundred years that Lu Yiping had been in seclusion on Demon Ox Mountain. Lu Yiping had used seclusion as an excuse to not see her in the past few hundred years. "Master, why don't you see Big Sister Wang?" Taurus Longjiao smiled with a frown. "It'll relieve her of her lovesickness." Lu Yiping glared at him. "You talk too much. There's no fruit for you to eat in the future." Taurus Longjiao was rendered speechless. However, in the end, Lu Yiping still met Mother Wang. When the Empress saw Lu Yiping, she opened her mouth and said, "My master knows that you like wine and has prepared some good wine at Sky Gazing Mountain. He wants to invite you over for a chat." Lu Yiping arrived at the peak of Demon Ox Mountain. Looking at the drifting clouds in front of him, he shook his head and said, "I have nothing to talk about with your master." When the Queen Mother heard Lu Yiping's reply, disappointment filled her face. Lu Yiping had tactfully rejected her. A moment of silence. The Queen Mother asked again, "When are you going back?" She was referring to Lu Yiping's return to the Chaos world. Others might not know about Lu Yiping's identity, but she knew that Lu Yiping came from the Chaos world's Lu family. Back then Lu Yiping had left the primal chaos realm for some reason, but she knew that Lu Yiping would return sooner or later. Lu Yiping said in a low voice, "I'll return after dealing with the Yinba Sacred Lord." These days he had been thinking about returning to the Chaos world, but the matter of the Yinba Sacred Lord hadn't been resolved yet. As long as he dealt with the Yinba Sacred Lord, it would be time for him to return. When Mother Wang heard that Lu Yiping would return after dealing with the Yinba Sacred Lord, she wanted to say something but stopped. A moment later, Mother Wang left Demon Ox Mountain. When she left, her charming face couldn't hide her disappointment. After she left, Taurus Longjiao came to Lu Yiping's side and said in a low voice, "Master, actually what happened back then wasn't Big Sister Wang's fault." "I know," Lu Yiping said as he looked into the distance. "However, some things have already happened. Since they have already happened, there is no turning back and there is no way to change them." Taurus Longjiao didn't say anything else. Half a day later, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left Demon Ox Mountain and began to wander around the immortal world. The Yinba Sacred Lord had the Creation Jade Disc, so as long as he continued to wander, he would be able to find the Yinba Sacred Lord one day. Now that he had 12 Creation Jade Discs, his sensing range had greatly increased. At most, he would be able to find the Yinba Sacred Lord in a few decades. Unless the Yinba Sacred Lord had already left the immortal world. However, the Yinba Sacred Lord had been dormant in the immortal world for many years and couldn't leave so easily. After a few months of wandering, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao received a message from the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce's president. After reading the message from the Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce, Lu Yiping revealed a smile. Taurus Longjiao saw Lu Yiping smile and couldn't help but take a closer look. He was stunned. The Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch is the Yinba Sacred Lord's eldest disciple? The Seven Treasures Chamber of Commerce's president said that he had found out that the Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch was the Yinba Sacred Lord's eldest disciple. This was a pleasant surprise. Since the Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch was the Yinba Sacred Lord's eldest disciple, then he might know the whereabouts of the Yinba Sacred Lord. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao immediately headed to the Hailan Immortal Sect. The Hailan Immortal Sect was a large sect in the immortal world and was quite powerful. The Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch was a pinnacle saint expert who could enter the immortal saint realm at any time. After arriving at the Hailan Immortal Sect, Lu Yiping didn't waste any time. He directly entered the Hailan Immortal Sect's ancestral ground and captured the Patriarch in front of him, then searched his memories. The Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch was indeed the Yinba Sacred Lord's eldest disciple, but he didn't know the exact whereabouts of his master. After killing the Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch, Lu Yiping had Taurus Longjiao destroy the Hailan Immortal Sect before heading to the Raoping continent. The Raoping continent was close to the immortal world's heavenly court and was a very prosperous continent. Although the Hailan Immortal Sex Patriarch didn't know the exact whereabouts of the Yinba Sacred Lord, Lu Yiping deduced from his memories that the Yinba Sacred Lord was most likely on the Raoping continent. Not long after arriving at the Raoping continent, the Fortune Jade Disc in Lu Yiping's body shook violently as expected. Lu Yiping followed his senses and came to a valley. The valley was quiet like a paradise. In the valley, a young man in a scholarly robe was flipping through an ancient book. Just as he was engrossed in the book, the sky suddenly darkened. He looked up and saw a huge mountain falling from the sky. Mount Buzhou. The young man looked at the huge mountain falling from the sky and didn't have time to think. He immediately flew into the sky. However, as soon as he flew out of the valley, Lu Yiping punched him and sent him flying. There was a loud boom. After smashing through the mountains, the young man stopped at the end. After a short pause, he flew out of the mountain rocks. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, and his face was covered in dust. He looked at Lu Yiping gloomily. Lu Yiping? Lu Yiping looked at him. Sacred Lord of the Yinba Sacred Lord? The young man was the Sacred Lord of the Yinba Sacred Lord. He smiled and his eyes were cold. How did you find this place? Lu Yiping didn't answer. There was a cloud above his head, and on the cloud were 12 Fortune Jade Discs. Seeing the Fortune Jade Discs above Lu Yiping's head, the Sacred Lord of the Yinba Sacred Lord understood everything. He said in a low voice, "I see." He stared at Lu Yiping. However, Lu Yiping, so what if you found this place? If I want to leave, you can't stop me. Then the cloud above his head was shocking. The Sacred Lord of the Yinba Sacred Lord's cloud was the same as Lu Yiping's. It was 19 acres, which was the limit of the Saint Realm. Chapter 431. Next, the great Tao around the Sacred Lord of the Yinba clan rose and fell. There were exactly 200 great Taos, and many of them were ranked in the top 100. I know you've comprehended the time and space Great Tao and conceal time and space. However, I've also comprehended the time and space Great Tao like you, the Sacred Lord said coldly. Your time and space Great Tao is useless against me. Among the 200 Great Taos there were 2 Great Taos. They were the time and space Great Tao and the reincarnation Great Tao. At this moment, a spaceship appeared around the Sacred Lord. It wasn't big, but it emitted a terrifying aura. Great Void Spaceship, Lu Yiping said slowly as he looked at the spaceship. The Great Void Spaceship was one of the most valuable treasures in the world. It was as powerful as the Chaos Bell. However, the Chaos Bell was both offensive and defensive, while the Great Void Spaceship's power was mainly reflected in its speed. Other than the vast divine boat, the Great Void Spaceship was the fastest thing in the world. No wonder the Sacred Lord said that if he wanted to leave, Lu Yiping wouldn't be able to stop him. That's right, Great Void Spaceship. The Dark Borer Race's Holy Master wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were cold. Lu Yiping, I will remember that punch. After saying this, he drove the Great Void flying ship with all his might and tore through the void to leave. However, as soon as the Great Void Spaceship moved, Lu Yiping arrived in front of him and punched out. 1,000 Great Taos flew out along with Lu Yiping's punch. Instantly, the Great Void Spaceship was sent flying by Lu Yiping's punch. The Divine Master of the Yinba race was also blasted away. He crashed into the Void Spaceship and was buried by the rolling rocks. This time, the Sacred Lord didn't get up for a long time. After a while, the rocks broke open and the Sacred Lord flew up. He looked at Lu Yiping with fear in his eyes. 1,000 Great Taos. Lu Yiping walked toward him. With a flick of his hand, the Great Void Spaceship appeared in front of him. Seeing this, the Sacred Lord of the Yinba race tried to recall the Void Spaceship. However, no matter how hard he tried, the Void Spaceship did not respond. Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived in front of the Saint Lord of the Yinba race. With a slap of his hand, the Great Void Ship turned into a streak of light and blasted towards the Saint Lord of the Yinba race. Before the Saint Lord of the Yinba race could dodge, he was hit by the Great Void Ship and was sent flying again. The Sacred Lord of the Yinyang Borer race, Qingyun, had 19 acres of land and 200 Great Taos. There was no need to doubt his strength. Unfortunately, he had encountered Lu Yiping. In front of Lu Yiping, he had no chance to fight back. After sending the Dark Vile race's Holy Master flying, Lu Yiping arrived in front of him. He slammed Mount Buzhou down and blasted the Dark Vile race's Holy Master into the ground. After a few more strikes, Lu Yiping pulled the Dark Vile race's Holy Master out. Looking at the dying Dark Vile race's Holy Master, Lu Yiping first sealed his power and then searched his body for the 3 Good Fortune Jade Discs. The Good Fortune Jade Discs of the Dark Vile race's Holy Master were hidden in his body. If it was an ordinary saint, even if he knew that there was a Good Fortune Jade Disc in his body, he would not be able to take it out. After taking out the 3 Good Fortune Jade Discs from the Dark Vile race's Holy Master, Lu Yiping immediately looked at his memory fragments. Then he summoned the Tree of Creation and began to devour his Saint Power, Great Tao Energy and Saint Body Origin Energy. Feeling the Saint Power, Great Tao Energy and Saint Body Origin Energy in his body being devoured, the Dark Vile race's Holy Master laughed eerily. He said, Lu Yiping, even if I die, there will be another more powerful Holy Master soon. You can't destroy the Dark Vile race. Is that so? Lu Yiping's expression did not change. He knew what the Dark Vile race's Holy Master meant. The Dark Vile race was spread across thousands of worlds, and it was impossible to kill them all. Even the Dark Vile race's Holy Master only knew the main branches of the Dark Vile race in each world. He did not even know about some of the smaller branches. However, Lu Yiping was not worried. When the time came, he would kill them one by one. He did not believe that he would not be able to destroy the entire Dark Vile race. After a while, the Tree of Creation had completely devoured the Dark Vile race's Holy Master's Saint Power, Great Tao Energy, and Saint Body Origin Energy. A new fruit grew on the Tree of Creation. This fruit was much bigger than Hao Tian's Great Tao fruit. Earlier, Lu Yiping had devoured Hao Tian's Great Tao fruit, and then he had given one to Taurus Longjiao. He had 14 left. Now, with the Dark Vile race's Holy Master, he had 15. When he returned to the Chaotic Realm, Lu Yiping would use these 15 Great Tao fruits to break through to the Saint King Realm. Then Lu Yiping used the Great Tao of Fire to burn the Dark Vile race's Holy Master to ashes. At this point, the most powerful person of the Dark Vile race had completely fallen. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao found an alternate space that the Dark Vile race's Holy Master had built in the valley. In the alternate space were the treasures of the Dark Vile Race's headquarters. The treasures inside were shocking. Although they could not be compared to the treasures of the Archean Celestial Court, they were more than the treasures of Hao Tian's Celestial Court. Most importantly, there were many Tree of Creation and Buzhou Mountain stones in the Dark Vile Race's headquarters. Lu Yiping looked at the endless Tree of Creation and summoned the Tree of Creation. He began to devour and fuse with the Tree of Creation. After fusing with these Tree of Creation, his Tree of Creation could almost recover to its peak strength in the Archean era. At that time he could use the Tree of Creation to travel through the myriad worlds. He could go to any world he wanted. He did not need to travel across the galaxy. Sure enough, after devouring and fusing with the Tree of Creation, the Tree of Creation grew again and transformed. Some of the branches were densely packed with great Tao runes and connected to form spatial doors. There were exactly 10,000 of these spatial doors that could lead to the myriad worlds. After that, Lu Yiping used Buzhou Mountain to fuse with the Buzhou Mountain stones in the treasury. Buzhou Mountain grew to 100,000 feet tall. Like the Tree of Creation, Buzhou Mountain had almost recovered to its peak strength in the Archean era. In the following days, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao used the Tree of Creation to travel to the immortal, Buddhist, Dragon, Thunder, Devil and Hell realms. They wiped out the Dark Vile Race in each world. At the same time, Lu Yiping refined the 3 creation jade discs from the Dark Vile Race's sacred lord and comprehended the great Tao within. In the blink of an eye, dozens of years passed. With the help of the spatial doors of the Tree of Creation, Lu Yiping traveled across the myriad worlds and wiped out all the Dark Vile Race in the myriad worlds. After wiping out a world, Lu Yiping would only go to the next world after confirming that there were no more Dark Vile Race. After wiping out all the Dark Vile Race in the myriad worlds, Lu Yiping once again returned to the demonic Bull Mountain in the immortal world to cultivate in seclusion. In these dozens of years, he traveled across the myriad worlds and found another 5 creation jade discs. From start to finish, he had a total of 20 creation jade discs. He only needed 4 more to collect all the creation jade discs. However, he had only found 5 creation jade discs after traveling across the myriad worlds. The other 4 should be in the chaos realm. While comprehending the creation jade discs, Lu Yiping saw that the immortal world was in constant chaos. He rebuilt the immortal world's heavenly court to suppress the myriad worlds. After Lu Yiping rebuilt the heavenly court, the immortal world gradually stabilized. Seeing that the immortal world was stable, Lu Yiping decided to return to the chaos realm. Chapter 432. Master, can I go to the chaos realm with you? Taurus Longjiao asked when he learned that Lu Yiping was going back to the chaos realm. He knew that after this farewell, they would not be able to meet again. Due to the restrictions of the universe, it was easy for a saint to enter the chaos realm, but it was difficult to come down from there. Lu Yiping shook his head. The immortal world still needs you. I can go back to the chaos realm by myself. Although he had rebuilt the heavenly court, the immortal world would definitely be in turmoil once he left, so he still needed Taurus Longjiao to guard it. With Taurus Longjiao's current strength and the means he had left behind, it was enough to guard the immortal world. But Master, Taurus Longjiao still wanted to speak, but Lu Yiping interrupted and shook his head. Don't worry, if I surpass the Sage King realm in the future, we will still meet again. Taurus Longjiao nodded. A few days later, Lu Yiping summoned all the powerhouses of the heavenly court he had rebuilt, gave them many instructions and then left reluctantly. When Lu Yiping left, Taurus Longjiao and Lu Yiping's eldest disciple knelt down. Taurus Longjiao's eyes were filled with tears. Although Lu Yiping said that they would meet again after surpassing the Sage King realm, it was not that easy to surpass the Sage King realm. And even if they did surpass the Sage King realm, they would not be able to break the rules of the universe. Therefore this farewell was probably the last time they would see each other. After Lu Yiping left, he came to the end of the immortal world. The immortal world was the leader of all worlds, and the entrance to the chaos realm was in the immortal world. However, although the entrance to the chaos realm was in the immortal world, one had to pass through an extremely long chaos realm to enter the immortal world. In this chaos realm there were many dangers. Those below the sage realm could die at any time. Even saints could not guarantee that there would be no danger. After arriving at the entrance to the primal chaos world, Lu Yiping tore through the space barrier and entered the primal chaos world. Everywhere he looked, he was greeted by the grayish chaotic air currents. These chaotic air currents were not chaos spiritual energy. Not only could they not be devoured for cultivation, but they also contained a kind of terrifying innate poison. Therefore, Lu Yiping summoned the auspicious clouds the moment he entered the chaos space. As the auspicious clouds swirled, auspicious light shone down, blocking the chaotic air currents outside. Within the primal chaos space, it was completely silent. Lu Yiping kept flying forward. After flying for nearly a month, Lu Yiping finally saw another exit. Lu Yiping didn't hesitate and flew out from another exit. Suddenly his body became light, and the gray chaotic airflow disappeared, replaced by a colorful world. In this world, the colors were extremely bright, and even the river water seemed to be suffused with golden light. This was the Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm was no different from the Immortal Realm, but the Chaos Realm's spatial laws were higher than the Immortal Realm's. The Chaos Realm's space was countless times stronger than the Immortal Realm's. In the Immortal Realm, celestial venerables could shatter space into pieces, but in the Chaos Realm, even the strongest celestial venerables couldn't shatter space. I'm finally back. Looking at the world in front of him, Lu Yiping had mixed feelings. Millions of years ago when he left the Chaos Realm, the scene seemed to be vivid in his mind. After stopping for a while, Lu Yiping flew toward the city in front of him. Soon he arrived at the city called Brilliant City. There were many people in Brilliant City and it was very lively. Lu Yiping walked slowly with the crowd. When he passed by a restaurant, Lu Yiping stopped. Thousand Dragons Tavern. Looking at this familiar name, Lu Yiping smiled. He wondered how Uncle Yi was doing now. Uncle Yi should have surpassed the Sage King realm by now, right? Although it was extremely difficult to surpass the Sage King realm, Lu Yiping had confidence in this Uncle Yi. This Thousand Dragons Tavern was created by Yi Wuchen, and it was also the #1 restaurant in the Chaos Realm. When Lu Yiping left the Chaos Realm, the Thousand Dragons Tavern had already opened in all the major cities in the Chaos Realm. Therefore, Lu Yiping wasn't surprised to see the Thousand Dragons Tavern in Brilliant City. Lu Yiping walked into the Thousand Dragons Tavern. The Thousand Dragons Tavern was full of people, and as he remembered, business was booming. Lu Yiping finally found an empty seat and walked over. However, just as Lu Yiping was about to sit down, a sword was suddenly thrown from afar. The sword was thrown on the table where he was about to sit, and there was a loud bang. Lu Yiping looked over and saw two women walking over from afar. One of them, who was dressed in green, said, "Sorry, we'll take this seat first." Lu Yiping looked at the sword that had been thrown on the table. With a flick of his hand he sent the sword flying back. Then he sat down on his seat. After the sword was flicked away by Lu Yiping, it fell to the ground not far away. The girl in green saw that her flying sword was flicked away by Lu Yiping and her almond-shaped eyes were filled with anger. "Little Green." Another young lady spoke up to stop the green-robed young lady. The green-robed young lady walked over to Lu Yiping and smiled sweetly. "My apologies, young noble. My subordinate was rude earlier, please do not take offense." Then she looked around the tavern and said, "There are no more seats in the tavern now. If young master doesn't mind, we can share a table." Lu Yiping looked around the tavern and saw that it was indeed full. He said, "You can sit but your maid can't." The girl in green was angry when she heard this. The girl was startled and then smiled. "Thank you, young master." Then she sat down across from Lu Yiping and said to the girl in green, "Little Green, why aren't you apologizing to young master?" The girl in green pouted and said that she was unwilling, but in the end she still said, "Sorry." Lu Yiping nodded and didn't bicker with this little girl. The girl smiled at Lu Yiping and said, "What wine would young master like to drink? I'll pay for young master's wine later as an apology." Lu Yiping looked at her. At first glance, the girl looked ordinary but she was very good looking. Lu Yiping smiled and said, "I want to drink the 10,000 Dragons Tavern's 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine. Are you sure you want to pay for it?" The 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine was the 10,000 Dragons Tavern's most expensive wine. It was not something an ordinary person could afford. The girl was stunned for a second, then called the waiter over and said, "Give us 2 jugs of 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine and a table of good wine and dishes." Then she gave the waiter over 20,000 Chaos Spirit Stones as payment for the wine and dishes. After the waiter left, Lu Yiping looked at the girl and said, "I didn't expect Miss to be so rich." Someone who could casually take out 20,000 Chaos Spirit Stones was naturally rich. Before the girl could say anything, the maid behind her snorted and said, "Of course our young master is rich. You're lucky to have met our young master and picked up a jug of 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine for free." Lu Yiping smiled and didn't argue. Soon, the waiter served 2 jugs of 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine and a table of good wine and dishes. Chapter 433. After the 10,000 Dragons Sacred Wine was served, Lu Yiping did not hold back. He opened the wine jar, took a deep sniff and drank a mouthful. The fragrance of the wine filled his mouth. It was still the same taste as before. Back then he stayed at the 10,000 Dragons Tavern headquarters for a few years and drank the 10,000 Dragons sacred wine with Uncle Yi every day. When the maid Xiao Lu saw Lu Yiping impatiently drinking a mouthful and then sitting there with an intoxicated expression, she couldn't help but say, "From the looks of it, this is your first time drinking the 10,000 Dragons sacred wine?" The girl looked at Lu Yiping and smiled. "This 10,000 Dragons sacred wine has a strong aftereffect. Young master should drink it lightly." Obviously, she also felt that this should be Lu Yiping's first time drinking it. Hearing the girl's kind reminder, Lu Yiping smiled and said, "Although this wine has a strong aftereffect, I've never been drunk before." The maid Xiao Lu pouted and muttered, "Shameless boasting." Following the conversation, Lu Yiping learned that the girl was called Wang Muling. After knowing that the girl's surname was Wang, Lu Yiping guessed the girl's identity. "You're a disciple of the Black Tortoise royal family?" Lu Yiping asked. Wang Muling was startled. She couldn't help but look at Lu Yiping and smiled. "I didn't expect Master Lu to know about our Black Tortoise royal family." Although the Black Tortoise royal family was the top family in the Chaos Realm with a heritage from the Desolate Era, they had not shown themselves for many years. Not many people knew about them. Lu Yiping nodded and asked, "I have a friend from your Black Tortoise royal family." Wang Muling couldn't help but ask curiously, "I wonder who Master Lu's friend is in our Wang family?" She then smiled and said, "If it's a direct disciple, I might know him. His name is Wang Dingtian." Lu Yiping said, "Wang Dingtian?" Wang Muling was puzzled. Although there were many direct disciples in the Wang family, she could remember almost all of them. However, she recalled that there was no direct disciple named Wang Dingtian in the Wang family. The maid Xiao Lu also said, "Wang Dingtian? I've never heard of him. He shouldn't be a direct disciple of our Wang family, right?" "Collateral disciple?" Lu Yiping smiled. "Master Lu is passing by Huang City? Or someone from Huang City?" Wang Muling asked Lu Yiping. "Passing by Huang City," Lu Yiping said. Then he poured a bowl of wine. When Wang Muling heard that Lu Yiping was just passing by Huang City, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. He then asked, "Master Lu, have you heard of the Night Soul race?" When Lu Yiping heard Wang Muling asking about the Night Soul race, he asked, "Why are you guys asking about that group of things that are neither human nor ghost?" Wang Muling's face lit up. "So Master Lu knows about the Night Soul clan?" "I know." Lu Yiping nodded. "Master Lu, do you know where the Night Soul clan is now?" Wang Muling asked. "I heard that Huang City used to be the main city of the Night Soul clan. However, the Night Soul clan suddenly disappeared from Huang City overnight. Very few people know where they went." Lu Yiping didn't say anything. He just looked at Wang Muling. Wang Muling hesitated for a moment and said, "I want to borrow the Night Soul Pearl of the Night Soul clan." Lu Yiping shook his head and said, "The Night Soul Pearl is the most precious treasure of the Night Soul clan. They won't lend it to outsiders." At this moment, the discussion at the tables around the tavern attracted Lu Yiping's attention. Lu family's Lord Lu Yiping has proven his Tao and become a saint. Lord Lu Yiping has only cultivated for 10 million years. He has proven his Tao and become a saint so quickly. He is indeed the most monstrous genius in the history of the Lu family. I heard that other than Lord Lu Yiping, there is another monstrous genius comparable to Lord Lu Yiping in the Lu family. However, for some reason he suddenly left the Lu family several million years ago. No one knows where he went. There is such a person. Never heard of him. Everyone was discussing. 9 out of 10 tables around the tavern were discussing Lu Yiping's Tao and becoming a saint. Even in the Chaos world, proving one's Tao and becoming a saint was a major event that would shake the entire Chaos world. If any family's experts proved their Tao and became a saint, they would have to hold a saint conference and invite experts from all over the Chaos world. Maid Xiao Lu heard the discussion around her and said, "Lord Lu Yiping has finally proven his Tao and become a saint. With such talent, no wonder he is called one of the 4 monstrous geniuses in the Chaos world." She then said to Wang Muling, "Young miss, Lord Lu Yiping will definitely hold a saint conference in a few days. Shall we go and take a look?" Wang Muling nodded and smiled. All right. She also wanted to see Lu Yiping, who was called one of the 4 monstrous geniuses in the Chaos world. Lu Yiping of the Lu family, Wang He of the Wang family, Qin Lu of the Qin family, and Zhu Xingjun of the Zhu family. Lu Yiping's hand that was holding the wine cup paused for a moment when he heard Lu Yiping had proven his Tao and become a saint. Then he drained the wine cup in one gulp. The most monstrous genius of the Lu family? Lu Yiping sneered. Back then he left the Lu family in the Chaos world because of Lu Yiping and his father. Now he was back. Lord Lu Yiping has a good relationship with the Night Soul Clan's patriarch. When Lord Lu Yiping holds a Saint conference, the Night Soul Clan's patriarch will probably show up. I think Saint Qin Lu will also show up, someone said. The Night Soul Clan's patriarch will attend Lord Lu Yiping's Saint conference? Wang Muling's heart trembled. If that was the case, then she must attend Lord Lu Yiping's Saint conference. After a while, Lu Yiping and Wang Muling finished drinking the 10,000 Dragons Saint wine. The two of them had only met by chance, so they didn't exchange any pleasantries when they parted. After Lu Yiping left, he didn't return to the Lu family immediately. After all, Lu Yiping had proven his Tao and become a saint. There were still some days before the Saint conference, so he had to find a place to break through to the Saint King realm. Now he was already at the peak of the Saint realm and could break through to the Saint King realm at any time. After leaving Huang City, Lu Yiping found a place in the wilderness. After setting up a formation, he summoned the Tree of Creation and plucked the fruit of Tao from the Yinba clan's saint leader. Breaking through to the Saint King realm was extremely dangerous. During the breakthrough, the auspicious cloud would transform, and it would require an immense amount of Saint Qi to support it. If he swallowed Saint-level pills and other Saint items, he would need tens of thousands of them. However, the fruit of Tao from the Yinba clan's saint leader contained all of his cultivation. The Saint Qi was shocking, and it was more effective than tens of thousands of Saint-level pills. After preparing, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the Tree of Creation and swallowed the fruit of Tao without hesitation. The fruit of Tao instantly turned into a torrent of Saint Qi, gushing toward every part of Lu Yiping's body. The auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head surged, and auspicious light poured down like a waterfall, rolling endlessly. As Lu Yiping channeled the 49th level of the longevity incantation, the Saint Qi from the fruit of Tao was constantly refined by him, and then poured into the auspicious cloud. Under the continuous influx of Saint Qi from the fruit of Tao, the auspicious cloud above his head finally began to transform. The auspicious cloud above his head was originally white, so white that it was flawless, but now it gradually bloomed with strands of yellow light. As the yellow light increased, the auspicious cloud's color began to change. At the same time, Lu Yiping's saint body also began to transform. Chapter 434. Lu Yiping's saint body shone with 5-colored golden light, and the surrounding Saint Qi glowed with 5-colored light. As the cloud above Lu Yiping's head transformed, his original 19-acre cloud began to shrink. 18 acres. 17 acres. 16 acres. As the cloud above Lu Yiping's head continued to shrink, the cloud above his head shone brighter and brighter. When the cloud above Lu Yiping's head shrunk to 1 acre, it continued to shrink. Finally, it shrunk to half an acre. When the cloud above Lu Yiping's head shrunk to half an acre, it had turned completely yellow, and it was a yellow that shone with bright golden light. However, the cloud was still shrinking. Finally, it became the size of a grain of rice. The saint power in Lu Yiping's body had also completely transformed, and the saint power in his body had turned into a liquid state. The aura of a saint king spread out from Lu Yiping's body and swept through the surrounding heaven and earth. At this moment, Lu Yiping finally succeeded in breaking through to the Saint King realm. Even though Lu Yiping had set up a formation around him, it was still shaken by the impact. It was as if the entire wilderness was about to be overturned. However, after breaking through to the Saint King realm, the saint power and great path power in the fruit of Tao of the Yinba Saint Lord continued to pour into Lu Yiping's cloud. Lu Yiping's originally grain-sized yellow cloud began to expand. Soon it was the size of a thumb, then a fist, then a head, half a meter, 1 meter. 2 meters, 3 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters. When the cloud was almost 100 meters in size, the fruit of Tao of the Yinba Saint Lord was completely refined. Only then did Lu Yiping stop. When he stood up, the heavens and earth seemed to tremble. Lu Yiping casually pointed a finger, and the power of his finger easily broke through the restrictions that he had set up before, and then blasted towards the end of the wilderness. After a long time, a sound came from the horizon. It was as if an apocalyptic earthquake had taken place on the ground. The ground kept shaking and cracking. Although Lu Yiping's cloud was only about 100 meters in size, the Saint King power it contained was completely incomparable to the saint power in the saint realm. After a while, Lu Yiping set up a new formation around him, sat down cross-legged, took the second Tao fruit, and continued to swallow it and cultivate. After refining the fruit of Tao of the Yinba Saint Lord, Jianshu now had 14 Tao fruits, enough for him to improve. When Lu Yiping was refining the second fruit of Tao, a group of powerhouses appeared at the end of the wilderness. These experts were from the various large clans and sects in the surrounding cities. They had been alerted by the power of Lu Yiping's finger and had come to investigate. When they arrived, they saw that the mountains in the wasteland had been plowed flat, and that there was a bottomless abyss tens of thousands of miles wide in the ground. They were all dumbfounded. They looked at Yiping, the Saint King Saint Lord. Is it a Saint Realm powerhouse? A sect master guessed in shock. It's definitely a Saint Realm powerhouse. Invincible heavenly venerables can't be this strong. An immortal emperor said. Could it be the Tower Master of Star Moon Tower? There were only a few Saint Realm powerhouses on Stellaris continent, and the strongest was the Tower Master of Star Moon Tower. Shall we go up and take a look? In the end, no one dared to approach the abyss. After Lu Yiping refined the second Dao fruit, he went on to refine the third, fourth and fifth. Now that Lu Yiping had broken through to the Saint King realm, his speed of refining the Dao fruits was much faster. After a few days, he had completely refined the remaining 14 Dao fruits. After refining all the Dao fruits, the cloud above Lu Yiping's head had grown to 1 mu. Although it was only 1 mu, many Saint King realm powerhouses who had broken through to the Saint King realm had cultivated for millions or even tens of millions of years. For example, when he was forced to leave the Lu family, Lu Yiming's father, Lu Yuchao, had broken through to the Saint King realm 6 million years ago, but his cloud had only grown to half a mu. After Lu Yiping's cloud grew to 1 mu, his strength was several times stronger than when he had just broken through to the Saint King realm. Lu Yiping looked at Jian Shu, who was surging with nebulous primordial qi. When Jian Shu devoured the Yinba clan's Saint Lord, Hao Tian, and the others, many of the Dao fruits formed from their Saint energy and Grand Dao energy had been devoured by Jian Shu. Therefore Jian Shu grew stronger with every person he devoured. Now Jian Shu had completely recovered his peak strength from the primordial era. It's time to go back, Lu Yiping thought to himself. Little sister, how are you? He still had a younger sister, Lu Jiqing, in the Lu family. Lu Yiping put Jian Shu back into his body and left. On the way, Lu Yiping learned that Lu Yiming's sacred assembly would be held in half a year's time. Knowing that there was still half a year to go, Lu Yiping was not in a hurry. He cultivated as he hurried back. Over the years, his immortal Skywood technique had only reached the 17th level. Therefore he began to cultivate the immortal Skywood technique on the way back. Just as Lu Yiping was rushing back to the Lu family, the entire Lu family began to bustle. Although there was still half a year to go before Lu Yiming's sacred assembly, many patriarchs and sect masters from the chaotic world had already led their experts to the Lu family. As one of the top families in the chaotic world, the Lu family ruled countless territories and continents. Under the orders of the Lu family's higher-ups, the countless territories and continents under the Lu family's rule were lit up and decorated with all kinds of festive items. In one of the palaces in the Lu family's headquarters, Lu Jiqing, who was wearing a plain dress and had an oval face, was holding a blue long sword and wiping it repeatedly. In fact, there was no dust on the Qinghong sword at all. All these years she had been wiping it frequently because it was a gift from her big brother, Lu Yiping. As she wiped the Qinghong sword, she could not help but think of the scene when her big brother had taught her swordsmanship. Big brother should have already become a saint, Lu Jiqing thought to herself. And she had just become a celestial venerable not long ago. Just as Lu Jiqing was wiping the Qinghong sword, she saw a woman with 2 maids openly push open the palace doors and walk in. When Lu Jiqing saw the woman, her face darkened. What are you doing here? It was Lu Yiming's younger sister, Lu Yu. What am I doing here? Lu Yu sneered. Now the entire Lu family belongs to our bloodline. I can come and go as I please. Lu Jiqing, if it weren't for the fact that I pity you, do you think you would be able to stay in the Lu family's headquarters? Then she continued, my big brother has become a saint. The entire Lu family is busy, but you're hiding here wiping your lousy sword. Why don't you go out and serve the guests? Serving tea was usually the job of the Lu family's collateral disciples. When Lu Jiqing heard Lu Yu ordering her to serve tea, her face turned cold. Lu Yu, the Lu family does not belong to your bloodline yet. When you become the head of the family, you can order me around. When Lu Yu heard this, she narrowed her eyes and slapped her. Chapter 435. Lu Jiqing countered Lu Yu's attack with her own. Their palms collided, causing a loud explosion and shockwaves to roll out. Lu Yu staggered back, only stopping when she was outside the palace gates. The maid behind her was sent flying. You've broken through to the heavenly venerable realm. Lu Yu glared at Lu Jiqing. Indifferent, Lu Jiqing looked at her. Although Lu Yu was also a heavenly venerable, her bloodline was higher than Lu Yu's. Lu Yu was no match for her in the same realm. Lu Yu's eyes turned cold. A long sword appeared in her hand and she slashed at Lu Jiqing. Instantly, a rain of swords shot towards Lu Jiqing. Lu Jiqing looked at the rain of swords and slashed out with the azure rainbow sword in her hand. Lu Yu's sword rain was sliced apart and the cyan rainbow sword chi was right in front of Lu Yu. Lu Yu was shocked and dodged in a panic. Even so, the cyan rainbow sword chi cut through the divine armor on her chest, leaving a wound the length of an arm. Blood flowed out from the wound. "Bitch, you're courting death." Lu Yu looked at the wound on her chest and was furious. She was about to attack again when a voice shouted, "Stop!" A white-haired old man flew over. Lu Yu's face darkened when she saw the white-haired old man. "Lord Ancestor Snow." Lu Jiqing cupped her fists and greeted the old man respectfully. Lu Yu could only do the same. "The sacred assembly is about to begin. All fighting is prohibited in the main manor. Are you going to be sent to the Black Prison?" The white-haired old man scolded the two, then turned to Lu Yu. "Lu Yu, don't think that just because your father is a Saint King, you can do whatever you want. The Lu family is still yours." Lu Yu lowered her head and opened her mouth to speak. In the end, she nodded and said, "Yes, Lord Ancestor Snow is right. You can leave." Ancestor Snow's expression softened. "If you do this again, you'll be sent to the Black Prison for 1,000 years. Lu Yu nodded and left. Before she left, she glanced at Lu Jiqing discreetly. That look was no doubt saying, "Just you wait." After Lu Yu left, Ancestor Snow looked at Lu Jiqing and said, "I've received news that Lu Yuqiao will challenge for the Patriarch's position. As long as the Lu family had a Saint King realm cultivator, they could challenge for the position of Patriarch. Of course, it was not that easy to successfully challenge for the position of Patriarch of the Lu family. Not only did one have to defeat the current Patriarch of the Lu family, but one also had to undergo the test of the Lu family's progenitors. The Lu family now had 7 primogenitors. At least 4 of them had to pass the test. Ancestor Snow continued, "Lu Yuqiao has the support of 3 primal ancestors." Lu Jiqing's heart sank. Therefore, Lu Yuqiao would definitely be able to pass the test of the 3 primal ancestors. This meant that Lu Yuqiao had a 70 to 80% chance of succeeding. If Lu Yuqiao became the head of the Lu family, it would definitely not be good news for her. "Ancestor Snow, do you have any news about my father?" Lu Jiqing suddenly asked. Ancestor Snow shook his head. "The desolate region of the universe has changed. No one can enter it now." Lu Jiqing was disappointed. "What about my brother?" Lu Jiqing asked, her voice trembling. Ancestor Snow shook his head and didn't say anything. Lu Jiqing's pretty face paled. All these years there had been news that her brother, Lu Yiping, had died outside. After Lu Yu left, her face was as dark as water. She said hatefully, "Lu Jiqing, you be *tc. Do you really think that Ancestor Shui can protect you forever? After the sacred assembly, when my father becomes the head of the Lu family, I'll slowly torture you to death." Very quickly, several months passed. As the sacred assembly drew closer, the entire Lu family became even more joyous. Experts from all over came in an endless stream. The Lu family main residence was even more crowded. At this time, there were only 3 days left until the sacred assembly. Experts from all over had arrived at the Lu family main residence. Inside the Lu family main hall, Lu Yiming and his father Lu Yuqiao were receiving the experts from all over the world. Lu Yiming's face was radiant. Saint King Realm experts rarely appeared, but this time, there were 3 Saint King Realm experts who came to his sacred assembly. Purple Firmament Saint King, Daluo Saint King, Origin Essence Saint King. All of them were unparalleled experts whose names shook the chaos world. Patriarch Qin, Lord Qin Liang, and Lord Qin Lu have arrived. Outside, one of the Lu family main residence's experts suddenly shouted. Lu Yiming, Lu Yuqiao, and the rest quickly stood up to welcome them. The Qin family was one of the chaos world's 4 great families. As the patriarch of the Qin family, Qin Liang's status was naturally not something other Saint King Realm experts could compare to. Just as Lu Yiming, Lu Yuqiao, and the rest walked out of the main hall to welcome Qin Liang, Qin Lu, and the other experts, a blue-robed young man walked in from outside the Lu family main residence. Lu Yiping raised his head to look at the bustling Lu family main residence. After several million years, the Lu family main residence, which was already old and weathered, became even older. Lu Yiping followed the stream of people into the Lu family main residence. After entering the Lu family main residence, Lu Yiping spread his soul force and sensed his sister's aura. He couldn't help but smile. Seeing that his sister had already broken through to the heavenly venerable realm, Lu Yiping was gratified. Before he left the Lu family main residence, he and his sister relied on each other for survival, and their relationship was very good. Lu Yiping did not go to the main residence's main hall. Instead, he went to his sister's residence. He wanted to see her first. At this time, a maid entered Lu Jiqing's residence. "Young miss, the Wang family's young master Wang Tao is outside, saying he wants to see you." Lu Jiqing frowned at the maid's words. Wang Tao was the Wang family's patriarch's grandson. Since meeting her several hundred years ago, he had often come to the Lu family main residence to pester her. However, this person's reputation was not good, so Lu Jiqing had rejected him many times. "I won't see him," Lu Jiqing immediately said. The maid complied. Just as the maid was about to go out to inform Wang Tao, a man and a woman walked in. The man was Wang Tao and the woman was Lu Yu. Seeing Lu Yu bring Wang Tao in, Lu Jiqing's face sank. "Lu Yu, I don't welcome you here, please leave." Lu Yu acted as if she did not hear anything and smiled at Wang Tao. "Young Master Wang Tao, if you want to enter the Bihong Palace in the future, just let me know." Wang Tao glanced at Lu Jiqing then smiled at Lu Yu. "Thank you, Miss Lu Yu." "I told you to get out." Lu Jiqing's eyes turned cold, and the Bihong sword in her hand stabbed at Lu Yu. "Get lost." However, just as Lu Jiqing's Bihong sword was about to reach Lu Yu, it was caught between two fingers by an expert behind Lu Yu. Lu Jiqing's expression changed. Lu Yu looked at Lu Jiqing and sneered, "Let me introduce you, this is my new bodyguard, an invincible heavenly venerable." After the previous incident, she had been pestering her big brother Lu Yiming, and Lu Yiming sent her an invincible heavenly venerable. At this time, the invincible heavenly venerable behind Lu Yu flicked his two fingers, and the Bihong sword flew up. Lu Jiqing was pushed back by the opponent's powerful force, and crashed into the stone pavilion behind her, shattering it. Chapter 436. Lu Jiqing was a core disciple of the Lu family, thus the invincible heavenly venerate did not dare to be too harsh on her. Even so, when Lu Jiqing crashed into the broken stone pavilion, blood trickled from the corner of her mouth, and dust covered her body. Lu Jiqing wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, glaring at Lu Yu and the guards. Wang Tao saw that Lu Jiqing was injured, but he did not say anything to stop her. For the past several hundred years, Lu Jiqing had been rejecting him, and this made him very unhappy. Lu Yu looked at the angry Lu Jiqing with a bright smile on her face. She turned to the invincible heavenly venerate behind her and said, "Capture her for me, I have something to tell her." The invincible heavenly venerate respectfully complied. He raised his palm and grabbed at Lu Jiqing. High above in the air, a giant hand appeared, enveloping Lu Jiqing. Before the giant hand could reach her, Lu Jiqing felt her body sinking. Just as the giant hand was about to land on top of Lu Jiqing's head, a ray of light suddenly pierced through the air and pierced through the giant hand. Like a balloon, the giant hand was suddenly pierced through and exploded. Everything happened so suddenly that everyone was stunned. They turned around and saw a young man in a blue robe walking in from outside the palace. Lu Yu was confused, but when Lu Jiqing saw the face in her memory, her eyes widened in disbelief. She pinched her arm, and when she realized it was not an illusion, her eyes reddened. Lu Jiqing's voice trembled, "Big brother, is that you?" Although she knew it was not an illusion, she still couldn't believe it was real. She had waited for several million years, and in these several million years she had sent people to inquire about her big brother. However, if it wasn't a stone that sank to the bottom of the sea, then she heard that her big brother was already dead. Lu Yu was shocked when she heard Lu Jiqing call her big brother. She looked at the young man in front of her in shock. Could this young man be? Lu Yiping walked into the palace and stopped in front of Lu Jiqing, smiling, "It's me, little sister. Big brother is back. Big brother is back." Hearing Lu Yiping's familiar voice, smelling the familiar scent on Lu Yiping's body, Lu Jiqing's tears flowed down uncontrollably. Tears fell like pearls from a necklace rolling down her face. "Big brother?" Lu Jiqing choked with sobs. "You're still alive." Lu Yiping wiped away the tears on his sister's face and smiled. "Big brother has always been alive." Lu Jiqing suddenly started crying loudly. Just as Lu Jiqing was bawling her eyes out, Lu Yu's voice rang out at an untimely moment. "Yo, your crying is quite touching. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that your parents had died." Just as Lu Yiping finished speaking, she saw Lu Yiping pull her over to him with a single hand. Lu Yiping held the man's neck with one hand, his eyes devoid of emotion. Sensing Lu Yiping's killing intent, Lu Yu was terrified. That invincible heavenly venerable reacted. With a shout, he suddenly sent a palm strike at Lu Yiping. "Big brother, be careful." Lu Jiqing cried out in alarm. Just as Lu Jiqing was worried, Lu Yiping raised his hand and flicked it. That invincible heavenly venerable flew backward and exploded into a mist of blood. The mist of blood splattered all over Wang Tao's body. Wang Tao's face was wet. He touched his hand and found that it was covered in blood. Lu Yu was shocked. Lu Jiqing, on the other hand, was pleasantly surprised. "Big brother, you've entered the Saint Realm." "Saint Realm?" Lu Yiping smiled. Just as he was about to explain, he heard Lu Yu sneer. "So what if you've broken through to the Saint Realm?" "Lu Yiping, my big brother has already proven his Tao and become a saint." "He's already a saint. You're just an ant in front of him. Today is my big brother's sacred assembly. You'd better let me go." Lu Yu said, "Otherwise, if my big brother and father sense something amiss and come here, you'll die without a burial place." "Is that so?" Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged. "If that's the case, I'll kill you in front of your father and big brother when we reach the main hall of the main mansion." Lu Yiping's cold voice echoed in the courtyard. Lu Yu was stunned. Lu Yiping looked at Wang Tao and asked Lu Jiqing, "Who is this?" Lu Jiqing told him Wang Tao's identity and how Wang Tao had been pestering her all these years. When Lu Yiping heard this, he raised a finger and sent Wang Tao flying. Wang Tao flew out of the main mansion and fell to the ground outside, unconscious. "Is Lu Yiping in the main hall now?" Lu Yiping asked Lu Jiqing. Lu Jiqing nodded and said, "Big brother, Lu Yiping has already proven his Tao and become a saint. You should leave first." Lu Yiping shook his head. "Don't worry. He can't hurt your big brother now." Then he led Lu Yu to the main hall of the main mansion. Lu Jiqing was stunned. What did big brother mean? Could it be that big brother had also proven his Tao and become a saint? Lu Jiqing's heart pounded. She couldn't suppress her excitement. Of course, she understood what it meant to be a saint. When Lu Jiqing regained her senses, she saw that Lu Yiping's figure had already disappeared. She hurried after him. At this time, inside the Lu family's main hall, Lu Yiping, Lu Yuchao, and the rest had already welcomed the Qin family's patriarch Qin Liang and Qin Lu into the main hall. Lu Yiping cupped his fists at Qin Liang. "It is Yiping's honor to have Lord Qin Liang at the Yiping Sacred Assembly." Qin Liang waved his hand and smiled. "You and Qin Lu are good friends. Of course I have to come to my sacred assembly." He then looked at Lu Yuchao. "Moreover, after today's sacred assembly ends, little brother Yuchao wants to challenge your Lu family's patriarch position. Of course I have to come and help him." Qin Liang was the Qin family's patriarch. If he came to help Lu Yuchao, some of the Lu family's primal ancestors would think twice. Lu Yuchao cupped his fists and smiled. "Many thanks, brother Qin Liang." Qin Liang smiled. "With our friendship, there's no need to be so polite. Moreover, I believe that with little brother Yuchao's strength, you will definitely succeed. At that time, the two of us will need to work together." Lu Yuchao smiled. "Of course." The two of them chatted merrily. While everyone in the main hall was chatting merrily, a series of miserable screams rang in the air. In the next second, people were thrown into the main hall. Lu Yiping, Lu Yuchao, and the rest stopped and looked over. The people thrown into the main hall were the Lu family's primal ancestors. Qin Liang, the Purple Firmament Sage King, and the rest were surprised. Today was the day of the Lu Yiping Sacred Assembly. There were actually people who came to the Lu family's main hall to cause trouble. Before everyone's astonishment, Lu Yiping walked into the main hall with Lu Yu in his hand. Lu Yu looked like a little chick in his hand. Some of the Lu family's experts who tried to stop him were sent flying by an invisible force before they could even get close. Lu Yiping and Lu Yuchao were also surprised when they saw that it was Lu Yiping. "Lu Yiping?" Lu Yiping glared coldly at Lu Yiping. He stood up and glanced at Lu Yu and Lu Yiping's hand. "You're quite lucky you're still alive." He then added, "However, you attacked my little sister the moment you came back. Did you really think that with Ancestor Snow protecting you, I wouldn't dare to kill you?" Lu Yiping's palm struck down on Lu Yiping. "You shouldn't have come back. Since you're back, die." Chapter 437. Lu Yiming's palm struck out. Saint Force surged out, and the auspicious cloud above his head parted, releasing rays of auspicious light. The auspicious cloud above Lu Yiming's head had reached half a mu in size. It was rare for a person's auspicious cloud to reach half a mu the moment he broke through to the true saint realm. Usually, only super geniuses with astonishing accumulations in the true saint realm could achieve this. Therefore, the experts present were shocked when they saw Lu Yiming's auspicious cloud reaching half a mu in size. Lu Yiming is indeed worthy of being called the Lu family's most talented genius. He has just broken through to the true saint realm and his auspicious cloud has already reached half a mu. With Lu Yiming's talent he will definitely become a true saint king in the future. Not just a true saint king. Lu Yiming has the potential to surpass a true saint king. The great hall was in an uproar. Amidst the uproar, Lu Yiming's palm force slammed down on Lu Yiping's head. Just as Lu Yiping was about to be turned into meat paste by Lu Yiming's palm force, Lu Yiming's palm force stopped above Lu Yiping's head. The crowd was dumbfounded. Lu Yiping looked at the palm force above his head with an indifferent expression. Light flickered from his body, and with a slight shake, Lu Yiming's palm force was shattered. Lu Yiming and the crowd were stunned. At this time, Lu Yiping grabbed at Lu Yiming across the void. A shocking force enveloped Lu Yiming. Lu Yiming's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't have time to think. His palm met Lu Yiping's attack head-on. This attack contained the power of a minor path, much stronger than the previous attack. The power of a minor path. This is the spiritual path. The spiritual path was one of the top 100 minor paths among the 100,000 minor paths. When everyone saw that Lu Yiming had actually comprehended the spirit Tao, they were once again in an uproar. One had to know that Lu Yiming had just proven his Tao and become a saint, but he had already comprehended the spirit Tao, which was ranked in the top 100 of the 100,000 minor Taos. Lu Yiping looked at Lu Yiming's incoming palm force, and his expression remained unchanged. His voice was calm, "It's just a minor path." Hearing this, Lu Yiming's face darkened. Just as he was about to speak, he saw Lu Yiping break through his palm energy, shattering the spiritual path in his palm energy. Lu Yiming's astonishing power continued to envelop him. Lu Yiming panicked and he roared. Saint energy surged out of his body, and a saber appeared in his hand. This saber was the saint weapon his father had forged for him. Over the past few days he had already refined it. Annihilation Saber Tao. Lu Yiming suddenly slashed out with his saber. Instantly, the saber light broke through layers of space and illuminated the Jiutian. The entire Lu family's territory could see the saber light illuminating the Jiutian. However, when Lu Yiming swung the Jiutian saber light in an attempt to break through Lu Yiping's power, he heard a muffled sound. Not only did his saber light fail to break through Lu Yiping's power, but it was also repelled by the backlash. Lu Yiming was struck by the saber light. With a muffled sound, his robe was torn to shreds and he staggered back. Lu Yiping's power followed closely behind. Lu Yiming felt his body tighten, and then the space around him changed. His entire body was lifted up in front of Lu Yiping. Seeing Lu Yiping so close to him, Lu Yiming was shocked. When he wanted to attack Lu Yiping again, Lu Yiping grabbed his hand. With a twist, his entire palm was twisted into a fried dough twist. The hidden force in Lu Yiping's hand contained the power of the Grand Tao of Curses. The Grand Tao of Curses was ranked 13th among the 3,000 Grand Taos. The power of the Grand Tao of Curses entered Lu Yiming's internal organs through his twisted palm and into his soul sea. Lu Yiming, who was engulfed by the power of the Grand Tao of Curses, couldn't help but scream in agony. It was so painful that tears almost fell from his eyes. Even though Lu Yiming was a true saint, he couldn't withstand the power of the Grand Tao of Curses. Looking at the sudden change, everyone was dumbfounded. From when Lu Yiming attacked to when Lu Yiping captured him, to when Lu Yiping's palm was twisted into a fried dough twist, everything happened in the blink of an eye. Seeing Lu Yiming's palm twisted into a fried dough twist, and he was in so much pain that tears were about to fall from his eyes, everyone was dumbfounded. Who is he? Everyone turned to look at Lu Yiping, their eyes filled with shock. One of the disciples behind the purple firmament Holy King looked at Lu Yiming, who was about to cry, and exclaimed, "What's going on? Why is he in so much pain?" Lu Yiming was a true saint. Even if his body was being cut off bit by bit, he wouldn't feel any pain. The purple firmament Holy King stared at Lu Yiping. This young man has comprehended the Grand Tao of Curses. His disciple was only a peak true saint. He couldn't see the Grand Tao of Curses in Lu Yiping's hidden force, but it couldn't escape his perception. The Grand Tao of Curses, ranked 13th among the 3,000 Grand Taos. The purple firmament Holy King's disciple and the surrounding experts were shocked. Lu Yuchao stared at Lu Yiping and slowly walked over. "Lu Yiping, no wonder you dared to come back. So you've already become a true saint. And from the looks of it, you've been a true saint for quite some time. You've even comprehended the Grand Tao of Curses." Lu Yuchao's words caused whispers in the Great Hall. I heard that the Lu family had a monstrous genius in the past. His talent was even higher than Lu Yiming's, but he went missing. Could it be him? Qin Lu looked at Lu Yiping, her beautiful eyes flashing. She was as famous as Lu Yiming, Wang He, and Zhu Xingjun, and she was the only female among the four. She had heard of some of Lu Yiping's achievements in the past. However, so what if you've become a true saint? So what if you've comprehended the Grand Tao of Curses? Lu Yuchao continued walking towards Lu Yiping. Today no one can protect you. Lu Yuchao's eyes were filled with killing intent. When Lu Yiping left the Lu family, he and his father had sent several groups of assassins to hunt down Lu Yiping. Who would have thought that after several hundred years, not only was Lu Yiping still alive, but he had also become a true saint. This time, no matter what, he couldn't let Lu Yiping leave this place alive. He was well aware of Lu Yiping's talent. If Lu Yiping was given another 10 million years, he would most likely become a true saint just like him. As Lu Yuchao said this, he suddenly sent a palm strike towards Lu Yiping. When Lu Yuchao's palm struck out, the power of a true saint roared out. The power of a true saint was different from that of a true saint. The power of a true saint was five-colored and filled with the might of a true saint. Within Lu Yuchao's true saint, the power of Grand Tao filled the sky. 1132 Grand Taos. Seeing Lu Yuchao's power of Grand Tao, the Purple Firmament Holy King, Daluo Holy King, and Origin Essence Holy King were shocked. It was rare for a true saint to comprehend 1000 Grand Taos. However, Lu Yuchao had comprehended 1132 Grand Taos. Among them there were 4 ultimate Grand Taos. I didn't expect Lu Yuchao to have comprehended 1132 Grand Taos. Qin Lu said to her father, Qin Liang, no wonder Lu Yuchao has the confidence to challenge the patriarch's position. Qin Liang smiled and said, with brother Yuchao's strength, challenging the patriarch's position shouldn't be a problem. Then he looked at Lu Yiping and said, this Lu Yiping, what a pity. Seeing Lu Yiping's palm strike coming towards him, Lu Yiping's expression was calm as he raised his palm to meet it. Chapter 438. Everyone was stunned when they saw Lu Yiping raise his palm to meet Lu Yuchao's attack. This kid can't be thinking of taking on Lord Lu's attack as a sage, right? One of the Wang family's sages, Wang Lin, sneered. Everyone laughed at his words. Although sages were strong, they were nothing before a sage king. Lu Yiping wanted to block Lu Yuchao's attack as a sage? It was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Suddenly, everyone froze. They saw Lu Yiping's palm strike and 5-colored light surged out. The intensity of the 5-colored light actually overshadowed Lu Yuchao's 5-colored light. Sage King's power? The Wang family's sage Wang Lin's expression changed greatly as he stuttered. Everyone's expression changed greatly. This Lu Yiping wasn't a sage but a sage king. Lu Yuchao was also in disbelief. Which sage king in the chaos world didn't cultivate for 100 million years before breaking through to the sage king realm? However, Lu Yiping had only cultivated for a few million years. In just a few million years, Lu Yiping had actually become a sage king? Even Qin Liang, Qin Lu, and the others were shocked. Lu Yiming, who was being held captive by Lu Yiping, was even more shocked. He couldn't believe it. As for Lu Yu, her face was deathly pale and her eyes were filled with fear. She was so frightened that she almost fainted. Shortly after, Grand Taos rushed out from Lu Yiping's palm strike. Lu Yuchao's 1132 Grand Taos became sparse before Lu Yiping's Grand Taos. 2000 Grand Taos. Holy King Origin Essence exclaimed when he saw Lu Yiping's Grand Taos. He had cultivated for nearly 200 million years and had only comprehended slightly over 900 Grand Taos. Lu Yuchao's 1132 Grand Taos was already shocking enough. But now, Lu Yiping had 2000 Grand Taos. 9 Supreme Grand Taos. Moreover, among Lu Yiping's 2000 Grand Taos, there were 9 Supreme Grand Taos. Fate, time, immortal, devil, karma, reincarnation, destruction, creation, and the 5 elements. Other than the Great Tao ranked first, Lu Yiping had actually succeeded in comprehending all of the other 9 Great Tao. Lu Yuchao, Qin Liang, Daluo Sacred King, Hunyuan Sacred King, and Purple Firmament Sacred King were all stunned. The Chaos Realm had existed for hundreds of millions of years, and there seemed to only be 2 or 3 people who could comprehend 2000 Great Taos at the Saint King Realm. Bang! Lu Yiping's palm energy and Lu Yuchao's palm energy collided. Time and space turned upside down, the sun and moon sank, and the sky changed color as a terrifying force swept out. Retreat! Daluo Sacred King, Hunyuan Sacred King, Purple Firmament Sacred King, and the others cried out in alarm. At the same time, they protected their disciples and retreated in panic. The materials used to construct the Lu family's main hall were undoubtedly the strongest chaos-grade materials in the Chaos Realm. The Lu family's main hall was reinforced by the array formations set up by the experts of the main hall. But just as everyone retreated, they saw the Lu family's main hall being blasted away and reduced to dust in midair. As for Lu Yuchao, he retreated again and again, knocking down countless buildings in the Lu family. Finally, he fell out of the Lu family's main hall and crashed into a mountain peak outside the city. The mountain peak crumbled. Rocks rolled down. The dust continued for a long time. Lu Jiqing, who followed behind Lu Yiping, was stunned when she saw this scene. The few Lu family ancestors who heard the commotion and came over were also stunned when they saw the scene from afar. Lu Yiping? Ancestor Snow looked at Lu Yiping and exclaimed in surprise. Lord Ancestor Snow. Lu Yiping nodded. Lord Flame Ancestor, save me? Lu Yiping suddenly cried out to the few Lu family ancestors who came over. Among the Lu family ancestors, an old man clad in scarlet flame battle armor stepped forward. He looked at Lu Yiping with unconcealable fear in his eyes. Although he had been a Saint King for longer than Lu Yuchao, his strength was still slightly weaker than Lu Yuchao's. Lu Yiping, we are all members of the Lu family. Why must we kill each other? Ancestor Lu Yongji stammered. Release Yiping and Lu Yu first. Release them? Lu Yiping smiled indifferent. Back then Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiping sent people to kill me. Why didn't you ask Lu Yuchao to let me go? Lu Yongji didn't know how to respond. Lu Yiping flicked his finger and Lu Yu, who was being carried over by Lu Yiping, exploded. Lu Yongji and the others watched Lu Yu explode into a mist of blood with an ugly expression. At this time Lu Yuchao flew out from the mountain rocks. Seeing his daughter exploding from Lu Yiping's finger, Lu Yuchao's eyes were bloodshot. In a flicker his fists punched out at Lu Yiping. As he punched at Lu Yiping, the auspicious cloud above Lu Yuchao's head emitted a golden glow as his Saint King aura surged madly. Although Lu Yuchao's auspicious cloud was less than 1 mu in size, it was already very close. Close to 100 million units of Saint King aura flowed out from his fists, turning into countless golden dragons that shot towards Lu Yiping. Watching Lu Yuchao charging at him, Lu Yiping also summoned his auspicious cloud. In an instant, auspicious golden light illuminated the surroundings. When Lu Yongji, Ancestor Shui Qinliang, and the others saw the auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head, they were dumbfounded. Lu Yiping punched out with both fists. When Lu Yiping punched out with both fists, Lu Yuchao felt a terrifying power that made his heart palpitate through the layers of space and press down on him. Once again Lu Yuchao was sent flying. This time he smashed through a mountain peak and fell to the ground. The experts present sucked in a breath of cold air. Lu Yongji, who had just advised Lu Yiping to release Lu Yiming and Lu Yu, felt his legs trembling uncontrollably. Lu Yiping looked at Lu Yiming, only to see the latter looking back at him with fear. It was as if he was scared speechless. However, Lu Yiping did not kill Lu Yiming immediately. Although Lu Yiming had just stepped into Saint King, he was still a Saint King. His Dao fruit would be of great use to his younger sister. Therefore Lu Yiping sealed Lu Yiming's strength and threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth for Jian Shu to devour. After throwing Lu Yiming into the cauldron of heaven and earth, Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived in front of Lu Yuchao. Lu Yuchao suddenly turned into a billion rays of sword qi, attacking Lu Yiping once again. Lu Yiping stood there, his hands moving. No matter how the sword qi attacked, as long as it came close to him, it would be deflected. When Lu Yiping finally deflected the last sword qi, Lu Yiping punched into the depths of the void. Lu Yuchao was sent flying out from the void. Then Lu Yiping swung Mao Buzhou and sent Lu Yuchao flying. Lu Yuchao was sent flying, vomiting blood. Mao Buzhou! Qin Lu exclaimed. There were many Mao Buzhou stones in the Chaos World, and she had collected many of them. However, whether it was her or the other experts in the Chaos World, no one had been able to restore Mao Buzhou's vitality. After Lu Yiping sent Lu Yuchao flying, he took a step forward and arrived in front of Lu Yuchao, swinging Mao Buzhou out once more. Just like that, Lu Yiping swung Mao Buzhou continuously for several dozen times before stopping. Chapter 439. After Lu Yiping stopped, everyone looked at Lu Yuchao's injured body, and their faces twitched uncontrollably. After Lu Yuchao was struck by Mao Buzhou dozens of times, the Saint King weapon on his body had already shattered, his face was swollen like a pig's head, and many parts of his body were smashed into a bloody mess. His whole person was unrecognizable. Everyone looked at Lu Yiping with fear on their faces. Even the Purple Firmament Holy King, Origin Holy King, Origin Holy King, Grand Luo Holy King Qin Liang, and the other Lu family's primal ancestors felt like their hearts were about to stop. Lu Yongji and the other Lu family's primal ancestors who were supporting Lu Yuchao had lost all thoughts of stopping Lu Yuchao. Among them, the strongest was only on par with Lu Yuchao. Lu Yiping brought Lu Yuchao, who had been tortured beyond recognition, before him. Lu Yiping, aren't you afraid that the solitary ancestor will be angry? Lu Yuchao glared at Lu Yiping, shocked and angry at the same time. The solitary ancestor was the Lu family's strongest primal ancestor. So what if he is angry? Lu Yiping's eyes were cold. Lu Yuchao was about to speak when Lu Yiping punched him in the chest, piercing through his heart. Lu Yuchao screamed in pain. Everyone's eyelids twitched. Lu Yiping sealed Lu Yuchao's strength and threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth. Lu Yiping appeared in front of his younger sister, Lu Jiqing. Lu Jiqing's face was filled with shock. Clearly, she hadn't recovered from the scene of Lu Yiping torturing Lu Yuchao. "Little sister, let's go," Lu Yiping said. Hearing Lu Yiping's familiar and warm voice, Lu Jiqing responded with an "oh." Then she followed behind Lu Yiping with a dazed expression, leaving the scene. When Lu Yiping passed by Lu Yongji, he glanced at Lu Yongji. Lu Yongji's heart thumped wildly. But in the end, Lu Yiping didn't say anything. Watching Lu Yiping leave with Lu Jiqing, no one dared to stop them. It wasn't until a long time after Lu Yiping left that scene that the scene returned to normal. What a pity. The head of the Qin clan, Qin Liang, sighed as he watched Lu Yiping's departing figure. He didn't know if it was because Lu Yiping hadn't been able to fight with Lu Yongji, or because of Lu Yuchao's fate. "Let's go back. Lu's Lu and Lu. Lu Yiping. And Lu Yiping, and Lu Yiping himself. Origin, Yong and the ancestor. The Lu Luan and the Luan's Li's and the Lu Lu's Lu. Lu Lu's. Very quickly, the originally bustling Lu family main residence became quiet and desolate. When Lu Jiqing followed Lu Yiping back to her palace, her mind was still in a mess. She couldn't stop thinking about the scene where Lu Yuchao was beaten up by Lu Yiping. "If you have anything to say, just ask." Lu Yiping smiled at Lu Jiqing. Lu Jiqing opened her mouth but shook her head. "I just didn't expect Big Brother to break through to the Holy King realm so quickly." Lu Yiping smiled. "I also just broke through to the Holy King realm not long ago." "Just broke through?" Lu Jiqing was stunned. "Just broke through and Qingyun's cultivation had reached 1 mu? Big Brother, Lu Pailan will be alerted about Lu Yuchao's matter." Lu Jiqing suddenly said with a worried face. Lu Pailan was Lu Yuchao's biological brother. Although he had left the Lu manor for some years, he knew that Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming would definitely return. "Don't worry, your big brother can deal with Lu Pailan." Lu Yiping smiled. Lu Jiqing was stunned. "Big Brother, you don't understand Lu Pailan's strength. Lu Pailan's Qingyun has already condensed 3 mu. Although Lu Yuchao was also a Holy King realm expert, his Qingyun didn't even reach 1 mu. However, Lu Pailan's Qingyun had already condensed 3 mu more than 3 times. Lu Pailan's strength was obviously more than 3 times Lu Yuchao's. Lu Pailan's Qingyun was 3 times Lu Yuchao's, but his battle strength was at least 10 times Lu Yuchao's. Lu Yiping's Qingyun was only 1 mu. Hearing his sister say that Lu Pailan's Qingyun had already condensed 3 mu, Lu Yiping smiled. "Don't worry, Lu Pailan can't beat me." Although his Qingyun was only 1 mu, after devouring Lu Yuchao's Dao fruit, his Qingyun had grown to more than 1 mu. "Is my old palace still there?" Lu Yiping asked Lu Jiqing, changing the topic. Hearing Lu Yiping ask about her old palace, Lu Jiqing smiled. "It's still there. I've been cleaning it every few days these past few years." "Just like back then." Lu Yiping smiled. "Is that so?" Afterwards, Lu Jiqing brought Lu Yiping to Lu Yiping's old palace. Lu Yiping's palace was much grander than Lu Jiqing's. Lu Jiqing said, "These past few years, Lu Yiming has coveted Big Brother's palace many times, wanting to arrange for his women to move in. Fortunately, Ancestor Shui stopped him." Then she added, "These past few years, if it wasn't for Ancestor Shui, I would have been killed by Lu Yiming and Lu Yu." Lu Yiping nodded and pushed open the palace's doors. What entered his eyes was a small stone pavilion with the word 1 carved on it. The word 1 was inscribed by his father. Looking at the word his father left on the stone pavilion, Lu Yiping asked, "Is there still no news from father and mother?" Before Lu Yiping left the Lu family, his parents had gone to the outskirts of the universe and hadn't returned since. The outskirts of the universe have changed. The airflow is terrifying. Now even Ancestor Shui and the others can't enter. Lu Jiqing said in a low voice. Lu Yiping didn't say anything. Then he walked around his palace with his sister. Everything in the palace was still there, no different from what he remembered. Lu Yiping's heart warmed. He said to his sister, "It's been hard on you these past few years." Lu Jiqing shook her head. "It's not hard on me. It's Big Brother who has suffered outside." The two siblings chatted for a while. It was already late, so Lu Jiqing returned to her palace first. Lu Yiping returned to the stone pavilion, thinking about his parents. In the past, his parents had brought him back from the outskirts of the universe. When his parents brought him back to the Lu family, they said that his mother gave birth to him in the outskirts of the universe. However, many people in the Lu family believed that Lu Yiping wasn't his parents' child. In these past few years, Lu Yiping had merged with the Fortune Jade Disc. He felt that his identity wasn't simple. Therefore, he had to make a trip to the outskirts of the universe. Although his parents had gone missing for many years, he felt that they were still alive. If he could find his parents, he might be able to unravel the mystery of his birth. After staying in the stone pavilion for a while, Lu Yiping returned to his room. He threw Lu Yiming and Lu Yuchao out, summoned the creation tree and began to devour them. While Lu Yiping was devouring Lu Yiming and Lu Yuchao with the creation tree, Lu Yongji and the other Lu family ancestors gathered together to discuss Lu Yiping. "This Lu Yiping is too presumptuous." Lu Yongji's face was filled with anger. "Does he have any regard for the Lu family's rules? Let's report this to the solitary ancestor." Another ancestor, Lu Feng, said solemnly. Chapter 440. Yongji, can you still contact Brother Pailan? Lu family's progenitor Lu Bing suddenly asked Lu Yongji. Lu Yongji shook his head. "No one can contact Brother Pailan now, but the news about the Lu family will spread soon. Brother Pailan will definitely come back when he hears the news." Lu Feng sneered. "When Brother Pailan comes back, let's wait for a good show." After Holy King Primordial Chaos and the others left, the news of Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming spread quickly. Somewhere in the Chaos world, an ordinary-looking gray-haired old man heard the discussion in the restaurant. His figure flashed and he disappeared on the spot, rushing back to the Lu family. One night passed. 2 Dao fruits appeared on the Tree of Achievement. One was white and the other was yellow. The white one was very small and it belonged to Lu Yiming. The yellow one belonged to Lu Yuchao. Although it was only the size of a fist, it contained the power of a holy king. It was far superior to the Yinba race's holy lord and the ruler of the immortal world, Hao Tian. Lu Yiping killed Lu Yiming and Lu Yuchao with a finger force. He then took Lu Yuchao's Dao fruit and began to refine it. Lu Yuchao's Dao fruit turned into a torrential heat that flowed into his auspicious cloud and body. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. When Lu Yiping finished refining Lu Yuchao's Dao fruit, the auspicious cloud had expanded by half a circle, reaching 1.5 mu in size. Coming out from his room, Lu Yiping went to his sister Lu Jiqing's courtyard. Seeing Lu Jiqing practicing with the Jade Rainbow Sword, he couldn't help but smile. "You've been practicing with the Jade Rainbow Sword all these years?" Lu Jiqing smiled sweetly. "The Emerald Rainbow Sword was given to me by Big Brother. I've always kept it with me." Lu Yiping smiled and found a sword in the cauldron of heaven and earth. He passed it to Lu Jiqing. "You've already broken through to the heavenly venerable realm. The Emerald Rainbow Sword's grade is a little low." Lu Jiqing received the sword and asked in surprise, "Is this a saint artifact?" Lu Yiping smiled and said, "This is the sword that Big Brother obtained after killing the sacred master of the Yin Borer race in the lower bound. Big Brother refined it again. You can use this sword in the future." Lu Jiqing smiled and said, "Thank you, Big Brother." Afterwards, Lu Yiping took out Lu Yiming's Dao fruit and showed it to Lu Jiqing. Lu Jiqing knew that the Dao fruit was too precious and wanted to refuse, but under Lu Yiping's insistence she accepted it. After Lu Jiqing put away the Dao fruit, Ancestor Snow came over. When Ancestor Shui saw Lu Yiping again, he could not help but sigh. He had a good chat with Lu Yiping. In the Lu clan, aside from his parents and younger sister, Lu Yiping was closest to Matriarch Snow. He remembered that Matriarch Snow was his introductory spell formation teacher. Looking at Lu Yiping chatting with him, Ancestor Snow was gratified. He asked Lu Yiping about the outside world in the past few years. While chatting, Lu Yiping also asked Ancestor Snow about the current situation of the Chaos Realm. Lu Yiping frowned when he learned about the current situation in the Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm was very big, so big that it was boundless. However, there were countless barbarian and demon tribes living around it. The demon tribes in the Chaos Realm had existed since the Desolate Era or even before that. Ruled by the demon ancestor Rahu, they were very strong, far stronger than the lower world's demons. The barbarian race's ancestor was no less powerful than Rahu. He was also one of the Kane demon gods, someone who had existed since before the creation of the world. The barbarian and demon tribes often wreaked havoc in the chaos realm. In recent years, the barbarian and demon tribes had joined hands, causing the chaos realm to be unstable. The king of chaos doesn't care? Lu Yiping asked. The master of the chaos realm was called Longqing, one of the Kane demon gods. He'd once received guidance from Pangu and was now in charge of the chaos realm. Ancestor Snow shook his head. I've heard that Lord Longqing has been in seclusion for many years. His disciples have been in charge of the chaos realm for the past few million years. Then he said, his disciples only know how to fight for power and enjoy. They turn a blind eye to the matters of the barbarian race and the demon race. His words were filled with dissatisfaction with Longqing's disciples. In fact, many patriarchs and patriarchs are dissatisfied with Lord Longqing's disciples, but they don't dare say it out loud for Lord Longqing's sake. Ancestor Snow continued, Lord Longqing's disciples are fine, but his grand disciples are even worse. They're all bullies. Lu Yiping asked, what about Uncle Yi? Uncle Yi? Ancestor Snow was puzzled. Lu Yiping reacted. Lord Wuchen. Ancestor Snow explained, Lord Wuchen hasn't appeared in many years. Some say he's gone looking for the World Carver Divine Axe. He's not in the Chaos Realm right now. What? The World Carver Divine Axe? Lu Yiping exclaimed. Ancestor Snow nodded. Yes, but no one knows for sure. Lord Wuchen shouldn't be in the Chaos Realm right now. But the World Carver Divine Axe belongs to Lord Pangu. How can it be so easily subdued? Lu Yiping nodded. The World Carver Divine Axe, huh? He thought inwardly. In the lower realms, he'd also been looking for news about the World Carver Divine Axe and the Earth Splitter Chisel. Ancestor Snow, have you heard of the Chaos Realm's Jade Disc of Fortune? Lu Yiping asked. Jade Disc of Fortune? Ancestor Snow pondered. I've heard that Lord Longqing has been in seclusion all these years because he obtained a Jade Disc of Fortune. He's been refining it. Longqing has the Jade Disc of Fortune? Lu Yiping was taken aback. Ancestor Snow said, I'm very sure about this. However, you can go and see Peng Dongyuan of the Eternal Chamber of Commerce. It said that Lord Longqing obtained the Jade Disc of Fortune from Peng Dongyuan. The Eternal Chamber of Commerce was the largest chamber of commerce in the Chaos Realm. Peng Dongyuan was its president. Peng Dongyuan. Lu Yiping noted it down. Yiping, how do you plan to deal with Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming? Ancestor Snow hesitated for a moment before asking. Lu Yiping said, I've already killed the two of them. Killed? Ancestor Snow was shocked. Lu Yiping grunted. This. Ancestor Snow couldn't digest the news. Lu Jiqing's eyes widened when she heard that Lu Yiping had killed Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming. You're too reckless. Ancestor Snow's face was bitter. He didn't know what to say. He wanted to reprimand Lu Yiping, but Lu Yiping wasn't someone he could reprimand. The news of you capturing Lu Yiming and Lu Yuchao spread like wildfire. Maybe Lu Yongji already knows about it. Ancestor Snow said, if you didn't kill them, there's still room to turn things around. Now that you've killed them, what should we do? He paced back and forth anxiously. Don't worry, Ancestor Snow. Lu Yiping is still not my match. Lu Yiping said. Ancestor Snow stopped and looked at Lu Yiping in astonishment. You're confident? Lu Yiping said, 70 to 80%? Ancestor Snow looked at Lu Yiping for a while. After confirming that Lu Yiping wasn't joking, he relaxed. A while later, Ancestor Snow left. After Ancestor Snow left, Lu Yiping left the Lu residence and flew to the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. Chapter 441. The Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters was quite a distance away from the Lu family's main residence, but to Lu Yiping, it was only half a day's journey. With Lu Yiping flying at full speed, the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters came into view in half a day's time. The Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters was grand and magnificent, with rows upon rows of palaces densely packed together. It was probably as big as a supercontinent in the lower realm. When Lu Yiping arrived at the entrance of the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters, he was stopped by the patrolling disciples of the Eternal Chamber of Commerce. Lu Yiping didn't hide his identity and said that he wanted to see Peng Dongyuan. When the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's disciples learned of Lu Yiping's identity, they jumped in fright and hurriedly bowed in greeting before turning around to report to their president Peng Dongyuan. At this time, inside the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters, Peng Dongyuan was receiving two young men. These two young men's identities were not simple. They were the King of Chaos's grand disciples. Chen Delin looked at the decorations inside the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's main hall and smiled at Peng Dongyuan. President Peng really knows how to enjoy life. Compared to the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's main hall, our residence is like a dirt nest. Chao Ning laughed. Who doesn't know that President Peng is the Chaos world's wealthiest lord? Peng Dongyuan smiled modestly. How can my little bit of money compare to the King of Chaos? Not to mention the King of Chaos, even Lord Wuxian is richer than me. Chen Delin smiled. The Thousand Dragons Tavern's business is really good. Then he half-jokingly said, I heard that President Peng has a good relationship with Lord Wuxian. Why don't you talk to Lord Wuxian? We also want to invest in the Thousand Dragons Tavern. Peng Dongyuan paused for a moment, but his smile remained the same. You two must be joking. My relationship with Lord Wuxian is only so. The rumors outside cannot be trusted. Chao Ning did not continue on this topic, saying, President Peng, we won't beat around the bush with you. We're here for the Grand Mist Aura. We know that you have some Grand Mist Aura, you can name the price. Peng Dongyuan's smile disappeared as he looked at Chen Delin and Chao Ning, saying, I believe both of you know how precious the Grand Mist Aura is. It took me a lot of effort to collect it. To be honest, I don't have much on me right now. I only have 3,000 plus strands of primordial aura, which is only enough for me to cultivate for a few dozen years. Therefore I will not sell them. Chao Ning smiled and said, President Peng, you don't have to reject us so quickly. Let's see what we brought. He took out a golden jade box and opened the restriction on the jade box. Inside the jade box was a small bucket of golden liquid. It glowed with a golden light and was somewhat viscous. It emitted a strange fragrance, and even the layers of space were unable to block this fragrance. Peng Dongyuan's eyes burned with desire. Golden Spirit Jade Liquid? The Golden Spirit Jade Liquid was a connate item. Even for a Saint King Realm Master, it was a great tonic. It was no wonder that Peng Dongyuan's eyes were burning. Chen Delin smiled and said, although the Grand Mist Aura is a treasure, the Golden Spirit Jade Liquid is also a rare treasure. These innate treasures are becoming less and less used after splitting open the heavens. President Peng, what do you think? Peng Dongyuan retracted his gaze and shook his head. I'm sorry, I'm not exchanging. Chen Delin and Chao Ning's smiles froze. Although this Golden Spirit Jade Liquid is also a rare treasure and is very useful to me, it's still lacking compared to the Grand Mist Aura. Moreover, the amount of Golden Spirit Jade Liquid you brought is too little. You want to exchange this small bucket for more than 3,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura? Peng Dongyuan said. Chao Ning pondered for a moment, then said, in that case, we'll exchange for 1,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura. Peng Dongyuan shook his head without hesitation. Not even 1,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura. Chen Delin's face sank at Peng Dongyuan's words. President Peng, you won't even give us this little face? Peng Dongyuan glanced at Chen Delin and smiled. This is not a matter of face or not. If the Eternal Chamber of Commerce was all about face, it would have closed down a long time ago. Chao Ning stared at Peng Dongyuan, smiling. President Peng, how many strands of Grand Mist Aura do you think we can exchange for? Peng Dongyuan smiled. Since the two of you insist on exchanging for Grand Mist Aura, then for Lord Longqing's sake, I can exchange for 200 strands of Grand Mist Aura. 200 strands. Chen Delin and Chao Ning's faces turned ugly at Peng Dongyuan's offer. Initially they had planned to exchange for 500 strands of Grand Mist Aura, but now Peng Dongyuan was only offering them 200 strands. At this time, an Eternal Chamber of Commerce expert strode into the hall, reporting to Peng Dongyuan, Lord President, outside, Lu family's Lord Lu Yiping wishes to see you, saying he wants to discuss business with you. Lu family's Lu Yiping? Peng Dongyuan was astonished. Chen Delin and Chao Ning also stopped in their tracks. Although the Lu family's sacred assembly had happened not long ago, Peng Dongyuan, Chen Delin and Chao Ning had already heard about it. Invite him in. Peng Dongyuan said after regaining his senses. But just as the Eternal Chamber of Commerce expert was about to leave, Peng Dongyuan called out, no need, I'll go personally. With Lu Yiping's current strength, it was worth it for Peng Dongyuan to personally go out and invite him. Chen Delin and Chao Ning however remained seated. When Peng Dongyuan arrived at the Chamber of Commerce's main entrance, he saw Lu Yiping in his blue robe. Peng Dongyuan exchanged some pleasantries with Lu Yiping before inviting Lu Yiping into the Chamber of Commerce's main hall. Inside the main hall, Peng Dongyuan introduced Lu Yiping to Chen Delin and Chao Ning. Chen Delin and Chao Ning did not stand up, merely nodding at Lu Yiping as a form of greeting. Lu Yiping's expression was indifferent towards the two of them. After taking a seat, Peng Dongyuan asked Lu Yiping, "I heard from my subordinates that fellow Taoist Yiping wants to discuss business with me?" Lu Yiping nodded, then glanced at Chen Delin and Chao Ning. Peng Dongyuan smiled, "Fellow Taoist Yiping, please speak your mind." "I heard that Lord Longqing obtained a fortune jade disc from President Peng?" Lu Yiping asked without hesitation. Peng Dongyuan was stunned. Chen Delin and Chao Ning stared at Lu Yiping. The three of them did not expect Lu Yiping to be here for the fortune jade disc. Peng Dongyuan pondered for a moment, then said, "There is indeed such a matter." Since this matter had already spread, he had nothing to hide. "Fellow Taoist Yiping is here for the fortune jade disc? However, I only have one fortune jade disc in my possession. I want to know where President Peng found the fortune jade disc in the past?" Lu Yiping asked, then added, "As long as President Peng tells me the details of how you found the fortune jade disc, I will give you 10,000 strands of grand mist aura." 10,000 strands of grand mist aura. Peng Dongyuan, Chen Delin, and Chao Ning exclaimed in unison. "That's right," Lu Yiping said. A bright light flashed around his body and grand mist aura coiled around him. There were exactly 10,000 strands of grand mist aura. Currently Jianshu was producing tens of millions of strands of grand mist aura every day. These 10,000 strands of grand mist aura were just a hair from 9 oxen to Jianshu. Chapter 442. Peng Dongyuan, Chen Delin and Chao Ning were stupefied when they saw the 10,000 strands of grand mist aura around Lu Yiping. "Are you serious?" Peng Dongyuan asked without hesitation, implying that if he told Lu Yiping about the fortune jade disc, Lu Yiping would give him the 10,000 strands of grand mist aura. "Of course." Lu Yiping smiled. "Wait." Chen Delin and Chao Ning hurriedly stood up and stopped Huang Xiaolong. Chen Delin and Chao Ning stared fixedly at the 10,000 strands of grand mist aura around Lu Yiping. "Brother Lu, we have some golden spirit jade fluid in our hands, we want to exchange for the grand mist aura," Chao Ning said, then opened the jade box's restriction and took out the bucket of golden spirit jade fluid. Peng Dongyuan's face darkened when he saw Chen Delin and Chao Ning's sudden interruption. Lu Yiping glanced at the bucket of golden spirit jade fluid in Chao Ning's hand, not exchanging. Chao Ning was stunned by Lu Yiping's direct rejection. Chao Ning was about to say something when Chen Delin glanced at Chao Ning's sleeve and shook his head. Lu Yiping ignored the two's little actions and looked at Peng Dongyuan. "President Peng, what do you think?" Peng Dongyuan smiled, "Of course." Then using his soul force he recorded everything he knew into a communication talisman and passed it to Lu Yiping, smiling, "Brother Yiping, I've recorded everything I know in this talisman, take a look." Even the way he addressed Lu Yiping had changed. Lu Yiping received the communication talisman and scanned it with his soul force. He glanced at Peng Dongyuan then flicked his finger. The 10,000 strands of grand mist aura flew out and landed in front of Peng Dongyuan. Even though Peng Dongyuan was the president of the Eternal Chamber of Commerce, looking at the 10,000 strands of grand mist aura in front of him, his breathing became irregular. He carefully put away the 10,000 strands of primordial aura. He, who had always been calm and collected, couldn't help but feel a little nervous when he put them away. After putting away the 10,000 strands of grand mist aura, Peng Dongyuan looked at Lu Yiping with a much more sincere smile. "Brother Yiping, it's rare for you to come here. Is there anything else you need? As long as the Eternal Chamber of Commerce has something, I'll give you a 10% discount." Lu Yiping smiled. "If that's the case then I won't hold back." He knew that there were many Buzhou mountain stones in the Chaos Realm. The Eternal Chamber of Commerce was the largest chamber of commerce in the Chaos Realm, so they should have Buzhou mountain stones. After learning that Lu Yiping wanted to buy Buzhou mountain stones, Peng Dongyuan was stunned for a moment, then he smiled and said, "Our Chamber of Commerce does indeed have a lot of Buzhou mountain stones, and quite a lot of them." Then he had people bring all the stones over. Just as Peng Dongyuan said, the Eternal Chamber of Commerce did have a lot of Buzhou mountain stones. When piled up together they reached several tens of thousands of meters high. Peng Dongyuan smiled at Lu Yiping. "Brother Yiping, although these Buzhou mountain stones can't restore vitality, you also know that the Buzhou mountain's origin is extraordinary. Therefore these Buzhou mountain stones are not cheap." 10,000 strands of grand mist aura. Lu Yiping suddenly said. 10,000 strands of grand mist aura. Peng Dongyuan, Chen Delin, Chao Ning and the others were dumbfounded. Peng Dongyuan was ecstatic and he asked in disbelief, "Brother, did you just say 10,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura?" "That's right, 10,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura for these Buzhou Mountain stones," Lu Yiping said. "Good deal." Peng Dongyuan was afraid that Lu Yiping would regret his decision, so he slapped his thigh with a smile. Thus, Lu Yiping gave Peng Dongyuan another 10,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura in exchange for these Buzhou Mountain stones. Peng Dongyuan's heart bloomed with joy after receiving the 10,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura. He looked at Lu Yiping and the smile on his face widened. "Is there anything else Brother Yiping needs? As long as our Eternal Chamber of Commerce has something, I can give you an 8.5% discount." Lu Yiping smiled at Peng Dongyuan's words. "Does your Eternal Chamber of Commerce have Spring of Life?" Peng Dongyuan's smile stiffened and he shook his head wryly. "Our Chamber of Commerce has something like the Spring of Life, but we only have several hundred drops." He then added, "However, we have Fruits of Life. Does Brother Yiping need them?" Lu Yiping shook his head. "I don't need Fruits of Life." Fruits of Life were useless to him. After chatting for a while, Lu Yiping said his goodbyes and left. However, just as Lu Yiping was about to leave, Chao Ning reached out and stopped Lu Yiping. Chao Ning smiled. "It seems like Brother Yiping has a lot of Grand Mist Aura on you. If we leak out the fact that you have a lot of Grand Mist Aura on you, how do you think people will react?" His words were laced with threat. Lu Yiping's eyes turned cold. Qin Delin smiled. "We don't need much, just 20,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura. Brother Yiping can easily take out 20,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura. 20,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura shouldn't be much to you, right? As long as you give us 20,000 strands of Grand Mist Aura, we can keep your secret." Peng Dongyuan looked at Qin Delin and Chao Ning with a frown. "The two of you." Peng Dongyuan was about to speak when Chao Ning interrupted. "President Peng, this matter has nothing to do with you. I advise you to mind your own business." Peng Dongyuan's face sank, looking at Chao Ning. "Chao Ning, even your master doesn't dare to speak to me like this." Chao Ning looked at Peng Dongyuan and chuckled. "My master is my master, and I am me." Lu Yiping looked at Qin Delin and Chao Ning, indifferent. "Believe it or not, I can slap both of you to death with one palm right now." Chao Ning and Qin Delin were stunned. "Slap us to death with one palm?" Qin Delin laughed loudly. "Lu Yiping, you're making me scared." He didn't put Lu Yiping's words to heart. His master ancestor was the King of Chaos, the overlord of the Chaos world. In the Chaos world, who dared to touch him? Not to mention Lu Yiping, even Peng Dongyuan, the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's president, had to be courteous in front of them. However, just as Qin Delin's words fell, Lu Yiping's hand reached out and grabbed Qin Delin's neck, lifting him in front of him. When Qin Delin was lifted up by Lu Yiping, he felt as if his throat was about to be crushed by Lu Yiping. Shocked and angry, he suddenly punched at Lu Yiping. "You're courting death." Lu Yiping raised his hand and caught Qin Delin's fist, then twisted it 360 degrees. Just like how he dealt with Lu Yiping used the Grand Tao of Curses. Qin Delin screamed in pain, the blood drained from his face. Chao Ning's face tightened, he didn't expect Lu Yiping to really hit him. Lu Yiping tightened his grip on Qin Delin's neck, throwing Qin Delin out. Qin Delin tumbled to a corner of the hall. "Don't think that just because your master ancestor is Long Cheng, no one dares to touch you." Lu Yiping's voice was frigid. "If there's a next time, die." Then he strode away. Qin Delin, who was thrown to a corner of the hall, was helped up by Chao Ning. Both of them watched Lu Yiping's back as he left, not daring to say anything. However, Qin Delin's eyes were filled with resentment as he held the hand that was twisted around. Chapter 443. After Lu Yiping left, Qin Delin turned to look at Peng Dongyuan. His tone wasn't very pleasant. "President Peng, why didn't you stop that surnamed Lu when he attacked me?" When Peng Dongyuan heard that Qin Delin's hand was broken by Lu Yiping, he couldn't help but laugh in anger. "Kid, according to what you're saying, if you lose a single hair, won't you blame it on me?" Even the way he addressed Huang Xiaolong had changed to brat. Qin Delin's eyes burned with anger when he heard Peng Dongyuan calling him a brat. "Peng Dongyuan, my ancestor is the Chaos World's king. Everyone in the Chaos World is my ancestor's slave. Including Lu Yiping. That Lu Yiping dared to break my hand, I will definitely destroy him and the Lu family." Qin Delin roared in anger the more he spoke. Peng Dongyuan's face darkened when he heard Qin Delin say that everyone in the Chaos World was the Chaos World's king's slave. Although the Chaos World's king Long Cheng was in charge of the Chaos World, he was only in charge of the Chaos World, nothing more. He clenched his fists, wishing he could smash Chindelin's mouth to pieces, but he restrained himself in the end. He called out to the door, "Send the guests out." An expert from the Eternal Chamber of Commerce walked in and gestured for Chindelin and Chao Ning to leave. Chao Ning said to Peng Dongyuan, "Peng Dongyuan, my junior brother was injured at your Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. You cannot shirk responsibility for this matter." And then? Peng Dongyuan seemed to have guessed what Chao Ning wanted to say. As expected, Chao Ning continued, "Give us 10,000 Grand Mist Aura strands, and we'll let this matter rest. Or else." Peng Dongyuan chuckled at Chao Ning's blackmail. He had always believed that peace breeds wealth, and it had been many years since he lost his temper. Or else. Peng Dongyuan looked at Chao Ning and Chao Ning. "Or else we'll go back and report to our master that you didn't stop Lu Yiping on purpose," Chao Ning said. Peng Dongyuan stared at the two of them. His gaze was so intense that it made Chao Ning and Chindelin's hair stand. Scram. After a while, Peng Dongyuan slowly said, "I'll give you 10 seconds to disappear from my sight. If you don't disappear from my sight after 10 seconds, I'll cripple you." Peng Dongyuan's voice was emotionless. Both Chindelin and Chao Ning wanted to say some harsh words, but sensing Peng Dongyuan's murderous aura, they left resentfully. When they left the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters, the two of them were somewhat flustered. After sending Chindelin and Chao Ning away, the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's expert returned to Peng Dongyuan and complained, Chief, Chindelin and Chao Ning's heads must be stuck between a metal wall. They actually dared to threaten and extort you." Indifferent, Peng Dongyuan said, "Relying on the fact that their Grandmaster is the King of Chaos, they think that the entire Chaos world belongs to their Grandmaster. They have always been arrogant. What is there that they don't dare to do?" The Eternal Chamber of Commerce's expert was a little worried, "But if they go back and report to their master that Lu Yiping made a move, Chief, you deliberately did not stop them with their master's protective nature, I'm afraid it will be troublesome." "So what if it's troublesome?" Peng Dongyuan said nonchalantly, "Even Lu Yiping isn't afraid. Do you think my Eternal Chamber of Commerce is?" After leaving the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters, Lu Yiping headed back to the Lu family. Just as Lu Yiping was about to reach the Lu family's residence, a gray-haired old man appeared in the air above the Lu family's residence. The gray-haired old man was dressed in ordinary clothes, and there wasn't the slightest trace of vitality on his body. On the contrary, he exuded a terrifying aura of death, as if he had crawled out from a prison of death. When the gray-haired old man arrived, he did not conceal his aura, alerting the Lu family's experts. Lu Yongji, Lu Bing, Lu Feng, Ancestor Snow, and the rest of the Lu family's primal ancestors appeared in the air. When they saw the gray-haired old man, Lu Yongji and Lu Feng exclaimed in pleasant surprise, "Brother Pylon?" The gray-haired old man was none other than Lu Pylon, who had rushed back after hearing about Lu Youchao's death. Lu Pylon's gaze swept over Lu Yongji, Lu Bing, Lu Feng and the others. His eyes were the same as his clothes, gray-white in color. There was an indescribable strangeness in his eyes, causing Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the others' hearts to pound. "Where's Lu Yiping?" Lu Pylon asked. His voice was calm, but it was laced with a bone-chilling intent. "Lu Yiping went out this morning." Lu Yongji hurried to answer. "He went out?" Lu Pylon remained expressionless. "Yes, I think he went to the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters," Lu Yongji said. Lu Pylon suddenly asked, "Were you there when my little brother got into trouble?" Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the others stammered, not knowing how to answer. "Umph." Lu Pylon snorted coldly. His voice rumbled like thunder, shaking the entire Lu family's headquarters. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the others who were close to him felt their souls tremble. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and Ancestor Snow retreated several steps, looking at Lu Pylon in shock. After so many years, Lu Pylon's strength had grown even more terrifying. "Since Lu Yiping isn't here, I remember that he has a younger sister, right?" Lu Pylon asked. Lu Yongji's voice tightened. "He does have a younger sister called Lu Jiqing. I'll have someone bring her over." With that said, he ordered his subordinates to bring Lu Jiqing out. Seeing this, Ancestor Snow said to Lu Pylon, "Lu Jiqing is just a heavenly venerable. As a Holy King realm expert, why do you have to make things difficult for a heavenly venerable's junior? If this matter spreads out, people will only say that you're bullying the weak." Lu Pylon suddenly raised his hand, striking out with his palm. Death Chi roiled, and his Holy King realm aura surged towards Ancestor Snow. Ancestor Snow was alarmed. He retaliated with all his strength, but Ancestor Snow was still sent flying by Lu Pylon's palm. Ancestor Snow crashed into the ground some distance away, spurting out a mouthful of blood. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the others were shocked. Indifferent, Lu Pailin looked at Ancestor Snow. I know you treat Lu Yiping like half a son, but no matter who it is, if anyone dares to stop me, don't blame me for being ruthless. At this time, Lu Jiqing was brought out from the courtyard by Lu Yongji's disciples. Lu Pailin pointed a finger at Lu Jiqing, sending her flying. Ancestor Snow couldn't stop her in time. Lu Jiqing crashed to the ground, her body covered in blood. She was on the verge of death. Don't worry, I won't kill you so quickly. Lu Pailin looked at Lu Jiqing expressionlessly. When your big brother comes back, I'll kill you with my own hands. I'll let Lu Yiping know that there are some people he can't touch. Half an hour later. When Lu Yongji learned that Lu Yiping had entered the Lu family's territory, he informed Lu Pailin. Lu Pailin stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at the horizon. Soon, a blue-robed figure appeared on the horizon. At this time the sun was setting in the west, and the afterglow of the sun shone on the earth. In the blink of an eye, Lu Yiping arrived in front of everyone. Lu Yiping's gaze turned frosty when he saw his sister lying on the ground on the verge of death. Lu Yiping, where's my brother? Lu Pailin looked at Lu Yiping with an expressionless face. Release my brother Yiming? He didn't know that Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming had already turned into Dao fruits. Chapter 444. Lu Yiping did not answer. Instead, he strode towards his younger sister. However, just as Lu Yiping was about to reach Lu Jiqing, Lu Pailin suddenly punched out. It was a simple punch. Heaven and earth changed color. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng, and the others retreated in fear of being hit by Lu Pailin's power. Lu Yiping did not even look at Lu Pailin's attack. Instead, he countered with a punch. Rumble. Their fists collided. Lu Pailin staggered several steps back from the impact. Lu Yiping, on the other hand, did not stop as he walked towards his sister, Lu Jiqing. What? Seeing this result, Lu Yongji, Ancestor Snow, and the others were dumbfounded. Even Lu Pailin found it hard to believe. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was only 1 mu in size, equivalent to 100 million Battle Saint King's energy. Lu Pailin had 300 million Battle Saint King's energy, yet he was actually at a disadvantage. Lu Yiping came to his younger sister's side, took out 10 drops of Spring of Life and fed them to her. Spring of Life. When Lu Yongji and the others saw that Lu Yiping had actually given a heaven-splitting treasure like the Spring of Life to an Empyrean, they felt their hearts ache. Normally, even if they were injured, they wouldn't be willing to consume the Spring of Life. Giving it to an Empyrean to consume was simply a waste of a heavenly treasure. After swallowing the 10 drops of Spring of Life, Lu Jiqing's pale face gradually regained some color, and her breathing stabilized. Lu Yiping saw that his sister's injuries were stable, so he had his sister retreat to the side. He turned around and stared at Lu Pailin. Then he walked towards Lu Pailin. Lu Yuchao and Lu Yiming were killed by me. Lu Yongji, Lu Bing, Lu Feng and the others shuddered. Lu Yuchao was dead. Hearing this, Lu Pailin roared at the sky. His ash-gray eyes stared fixedly at Lu Yiping. Impossible. You're lying. Then he attacked Lu Yiping in a frenzy. When Lu Pailin attacked madly, the 3 mu of auspicious clouds above his head blossomed with golden light. The Saint Ruler Qi was like a waterfall, constantly roaring and churning. When Lu Pailin punched out with both fists, the power of 300 million Saint Kings poured out wildly. At the same time, the power of the great path that he had comprehended blasted towards Lu Yiping. Although he had not comprehended as many great Daos as Lu Yiping, he had also comprehended more than 1,500 great Daos. 1,500. Lu Yongji and the others were shocked. When Lu Pailin left the Lu clan back then, he had only comprehended 1,300 great Daos. Ancestor Shui was shocked to see that Lu Yiping had comprehended more than 1,500 Grand Dao. Although Lu Yiping had comprehended 2,000 Grand Dao, he only had 100 million units of Saint Monarch force. If they really fought, the loser would still be Lu Yiping. Looking at Lu Pailin charging at him, Lu Yiping's eyes turned cold. Auspicious clouds gathered above his head, and Saint King power surged. 1 mu and a half. Lu Yongji, Ancestor Shui, and the others were dumbfounded when they saw that Lu Yiping's auspicious clouds were actually 1 mu and a half instead of 1 mu. Earlier, when Lu Yiping and Lu Yuchao fought, the auspicious clouds were clearly 1 mu, so how did it suddenly become 1 mu and a half? Some of the Lu clan's grand elders even rubbed their eyes, thinking that they were seeing things. Before everyone's astonishment, Lu Yiping punched out with both fists. meeting Lu Pailan's fist force. The power of Great Daos roared. This time it was not 2,000 Grand Dao. Instead, 2,900 Grand Dao. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng, and the others were stupefied when they saw Lu Yiping's Grand Dao. Their faces were filled with shock and even shock. This was because no one in the Chaos world had ever comprehended 2,900 Grand Dao while in the Saint King realm. Forget 2,900 Grand Dao, even 2,800 Grand Dao had never been comprehended before. Lu Pailan's eyes also widened in disbelief. One had to know that when the King of Chaos Long Cheng was in the Saint King realm, he had only comprehended 2,700 Grand Dao. Rumble. Lu Pailan felt a terrifying force hit him, and he was sent flying, crashing through countless buildings in the Lu clan's residence before being buried under layers of rubble. Lu Yongji and the others stared at Lu Pailan in shock. One had 100 and 500 million Battle Saint King energy, while the other had 300 million Battle Saint King energy. Yet, Lu Pailan, who had 300 million Battle Saint King energy, was sent flying. Lu Yiping's expression remained the same as he walked towards Lu Pailan. Just as Lu Yiping was walking towards Lu Pailan, the rubble suddenly exploded, and a figure soared into the air, arriving in front of Lu Yiping in the blink of an eye. It was none other than Lu Pailan. A sharp spike had appeared in Lu Pailan's hand, and he aimed it at Lu Yiping's chest. Looking at the strange dark green Dao patterns on the spike, Ancestor Shui exclaimed, "Soul Crusher Spike." What Soul Crusher Spike? Isn't that the Devil Race's supreme treasure? The Soul Crusher Spike was a Chaos-grade supreme treasure. Even a Holy King's soul would be sucked away by this spike. However, this Soul Crusher Spike was the Devil Race's supreme treasure, so why was it in Lu Pailan's hands? The Soul Crusher Spike pierced Lu Yiping's chest in an instant. Seeing that the Soul Crusher Spike had pierced Lu Yiping's chest, Lu Pailan's smile turned sinister. "Lu Yiping, you've been hit by the Soul Crusher Spike. Now, even a Dao Ancestor won't be able to save you." Above Holy King was the Dao Ancestor. "Is that so?" Lu Yiping looked at Lu Pailan's sinister smile and said indifferently. Lu Pailan was stunned when he saw Lu Yiping's calm expression. Lu Yongji, Ancestor Shui, and the others were also stunned. In the next moment, they noticed that Dao patterns had appeared on the surface of Lu Yiping's body. These Dao patterns were tightly linked together, forming an unbreakable defensive barrier. Therefore, the Soul Crusher Spike did not pierce Lu Yiping's body at all, but pierced the defensive barrier instead. Lu Pailan looked at the Dao pattern barrier in bewilderment. Heaven Opening Grade Cultivation Technique? After all, only a Heaven Opening Grade Cultivation Technique could block the Soul Crusher Spike. Lu Pailan's guess was right, it was the Immortal Skywood Art that blocked the Soul Crusher Spike. Although Lu Yiping's Immortal Skywood Art had not reached the 49th stage, it was more than enough to block the attack of a low-level Holy King like Lu Pailan. That's right, a Heaven Opening Grade Cultivation Technique. As Lu Yiping's words fell, a towering golden bell appeared above his head. Above the golden bell, the sun, moon, mountains and rivers flowed. Then a deafening bell sound reverberated through heaven and earth. Horrifying sound waves swept out, shocking Lu Pailan. He wanted to flee, but he was still a step too slow, and was instantly engulfed by the terrifying sound waves. The divine armor on Lu Pailan's body exploded in an instant, crashing into the horizon. Just as Lu Pailan crashed into the horizon, the Bell of Chaos fell from the sky, slamming down. Bang! When the Bell of Chaos fell on Lu Pailan, the ground shook for tens of thousands of li sand and dust flew into the air, covering the sky as far as everyone could see. The sun was blocked by the sand and dust and the world turned gray. Even from tens of thousands of li away, everyone could feel the Bell of Chaos's unparalleled destructive power. In the Lu family's territory, every expert's ears buzzed, and all of them turned pale with fright as they looked at the towering bell covering the earth. Lu Yongji, Lu Bing and the others felt their legs go weak. Chapter 445. Lu Yiping took a step forward, arriving in the air above the Bell of Chaos. Then he descended, landing on top of the Bell of Chaos cauldron. He channeled all of his strength into the Bell of Chaos from his feet. Immediately, the Bell of Chaos slammed into the ground. The ground covered by the Bell of Chaos instantly sank. Earth, wind, water and fire spewed out from the ground. Inside the Bell of Chaos, a deafening chime reverberated for a long time. Destructive energy swirled inside the Bell of Chaos. Lu Pailan, who was trapped inside the Bell of Chaos, was sent flying back and forth. By the time Lu Yiping controlled the Bell of Chaos to fly up, the ground covered by the Bell of Chaos had completely disappeared. Only waves of terrifying energy remained, and only the earth, wind, water and fire could be seen rushing back and forth. At the center of the energy waves lay a gray-haired old man, Lu Pailan. At this time, Lu Pailan was lying in the center of the energy waves on the verge of death. Not a single part of his body was intact. His mouth, nose, ears and eyes were all covered in blood. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng, and the rest paled seeing Lu Pailan's miserable state. Their eyes were filled with uncontrollable fear as they looked at Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping walked up to Lu Pailan. The dying Lu Pailan struggled to open his eyes, looking at Lu Yiping, his voice weak. "Surnamed Lu, I am now under the demon ancestor Rahu. If I die, the Lord Demon Ancestor will come looking for you." Demon Ancestor Rahu. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the rest paled. The demon ancestor Rahu was an existence that surpassed the Saint King realm. Even the King of Chaos, Long Cheng, was extremely wary of him. At the same time Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the rest glared at Lu Pailan. The human race, devil race and barbarian race had always been like fire and water. Countless human experts had died in the demon ancestor's hands. Even the Lu family's grand elders and elders were killed by the devil race. Now Lu Pailan had actually submitted to the devil race. Lu Yiping reached out and grabbed the thorn of Soul Crusher that had fallen to the ground. Lu Pailan looked at the Soul Crusher thorn and grinned. "This Soul Crusher thorn was bestowed to me by the Lord Demon Ancestor." Although he did not say it, it was clear how important the demon ancestor Rahu was, otherwise he wouldn't have bestowed the Soul Crusher thorn. Lu Yiping waved his hand, sending the Soul Crusher thorn straight into Lu Pailan's chest. Lu Pailan let out a blood-curdling scream as he stared at the Soul Crusher thorn in his chest in fear. Then, he glared at Lu Yiping and laughed maniacally. "Lu Yiping, even if I die, you'll come down to accompany me soon. Lord Devil Ancestor will extract your soul and shatter it. You will be even more miserable than me." Lu Yongji and the of Huang Lu Yong and Lu's Lu 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 then and the Lu Yongji Lu and the others. Lu Yongji and the others trembled as they watched Lu Yiping walking towards them. Lu Yiping pointed at Ancestor Snow, and a grand Tao of life flowed into her body. Ancestor Snow's injuries were light, and she recovered quickly. While Lu Yiping was dealing with Lu Pailan, Chindelin and Chao Ning arrived at their master Kong Qing's cultivation cave. Kong Qing was the King of Chaos Long Cheng's youngest disciple and was doted on by Long Cheng. Kong Qing frowned when he heard that Chindelin's hand was twisted by Lu Yiping. "Lu family's Lu Yiping?" Kong Qing asked. "Yes, Lu family's Lu Yiping." Chindelin snarled. "Lu Yiping was aware of our identities, yet he still attacked us so ruthlessly. It's obvious that he doesn't put Master and Ancestor's family in his eyes." Moreover, Peng Dongyuan was present at the scene. He saw Lu Yiping attacking us, yet he did not stop him. He did it on purpose. Kong Qing's gaze turned frosty. Although he understood his two disciples' natures, and they might have exaggerated, it was a fact that his disciples were injured in the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. "Master, that Lu Yiping has a lot of Grand Mist aura on him," Chao Ning said. "We saw him take out 20,000 Grand Mist aura strands to trade with Peng Dongyuan without batting an eyelid." 20,000 Grand Mist aura strands. Kong Qing exclaimed in shock. "Yes." Chao Ning quickly recounted the details of Lu Yiping's transaction with Peng Dongyuan. Kong Qing's eyes glimmered. When Lu Yiping fought with Lu Yuchao, he used the Buzhou Mountain. It seems like he bought Buzhou Mountain stones from Peng Dongyuan to restore the mountain's power. But is he also looking for the Fortune Jade Disc? Does he have other fragments of the Fortune Jade Disc? Chen Delin said, "It's possible that Lu Yiping has other fragments of the Fortune Jade Disc. The ancestor has been searching for other fragments of the Fortune Jade Disc. If Lu Yiping really has a fragment of the Fortune Jade Disc, we can snatch it and offer it to the ancestor. Then Master's position will be as stable as a mountain. Moreover, the ancestor might even pass on the 9 Revolutions mysterious art to Master." The 9 Revolutions mysterious art was a heaven-opening cultivation technique that Pangu had passed down to Longqing. Kong Qing was tempted. Even if Lu Yiping did not have a fragment of the Fortune Jade Disc, he definitely had a lot of Grand Mist aura on him. Being able to take out 20,000 Grand Mist aura strands, he probably had 200,000 or even 300,000. Send someone to find out where Lu Yiping is. Kong Qing ordered Chindelin and Chao Ning. Chindelin and Chao Ning complied. Soon they found out about the battle between Lu Yiping and Lu Pailan. Kong Qing was astounded when he learned that even Lu Pailan was defeated by Lu Yiping. I didn't expect Lu Yiping's battle strength to be so strong. Kong Qing said solemnly, but when he fought with Lu Yuchao wasn't Qing Yun only 1 mu in size? Why did it suddenly increase by half a mu? Qin Delin and Chao Ning were also puzzled. Although Lu Yiping's battle strength is strong, he's definitely not Master's opponent. Chao Ning said. Although Kong Qing was the king of chaos Long Cheng's youngest disciple, his strength was not weak. He was already a mid-level Saint King, and Qing Yun's size had increased to 5 mu. His strength was 7 to 8 times higher than Lu Pailan's. Kong Qing pondered for a moment, then said, "Pay attention to Lu Yiping's movements. Report to me the moment he leaves the Lu residence." When Lu Yiping was in the Lu residence, it was more or less inconvenient for Kong Qing to attack him, but if he left the Lu residence, Kong Qing wouldn't have so many scruples. At this time inside Lu Yiping's palace, Lu Yiping was sitting cross-legged under the creation tree. He took out Lu Pailan and controlled the creation tree to absorb Lu Pailan's Holy King Force, Grand Tao Force and Saint Physique's origin energy. Soon, a dazzling golden Tao fruit grew out from the creation tree. This Tao fruit was many times bigger than Lu Youchao's, emitting a dazzling golden light. Lu Yiping swallowed the Tao fruit and began refining it. Ever since he entered the chaos world, he was more eager to increase his strength. Although his current battle strength was comparable to a mid-level Saint King, he was still too weak when facing existences like the King of Chaos, Archdevil Ancestor and Barbarian Ancestor. He needed to increase his strength as soon as possible, at least to peak Saint King realm. Chapter 446. As long as Lu Yiping broke through to peak Holy King realm with the Chaos Bell, Buzhou Mountain and Longevity Secret Art, he wouldn't need to fear the King of Chaos, Archdevil Ancestor or Barbarian Ancestor. Not long after Lu Yiping swallowed the Tao fruit, the Tao fruit turned into roiling waves, rushing to every part of Lu Yiping's body. The auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head shone brightly, and the auspicious light flickered in and out. The original 1.5 mu of auspicious cloud soon grew to almost 2 mu. But when Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud reached 2 mu of auspicious clouds, his body emitted layers of light rings. The night passed. By the time Lu Yiping finished refining the Tao fruit, the auspicious cloud above his head had grown to 3 mu. His auspicious cloud was originally 1.5 mu, but now it was 3 mu, twice the size. Although it was only 2 times, his strength was far greater than 2 times. However, Lu Yiping was in no hurry to leave seclusion. Instead, he continued to cultivate the immortal Skywood technique. Several days later he came out from his room. Just as Lu Yiping came out from his room, Ancestor Snow walked over saying, "Yiping, the Wang family's patriarch Wang Haozhe is in the main hall. He wants you to go out and meet him." He then added, "Many experts from the Wang family came. Wang Haozhe even brought his grandson Wang Tao with ill intentions." Hearing that Wang Haozhe brought Wang Tao over, Lu Yiping knew the other party's intention. That day, Lu Yu brought Wang Tao into his sister Lu Jiqing's courtyard. After he dealt with Lu Yu, he used a finger to cripple Wang Tao. After that, he heard from his sister Lu Jiqing that Wang Haozhe doted on his grandson Wang Tao. It seems like Wang Haozhe came because of Wang Tao. Lu Yiping headed to the main hall. When he arrived, the main hall was filled with several hundred people from the Wang family. Wang Haozhe was sitting in the center of the main hall. The Lu family's patriarch, Lu Gang, was chatting with Wang Haozhe. Lu Yongji, Lu Feng and the others were also present. Lu clan, Wang clan, Zhu clan and Qin clan. Among the 4 great clans, Zhu clan was the strongest, followed by Qin clan, Wang clan and Lu clan. As the head of the Wang clan, Wang Haozhe was much stronger than Lu Gang, Lu Yongji and the others. Wang Haozhe was a mid-level Saint King, and Qing Yun had already cultivated to 6 mu, possessing 600 million Saint King energy. However, Lu Yiping now had 300 million battle Saint King battle strength. If he used the immortal heavenly wood art, the Bell of Chaos, and the Buzhou Mountain, he might stand a chance against Huang Xiaolong. When everyone in the hall saw Lu Yiping enter, they all turned to look at Lu Yiping. "Yiping, you're here." The patriarch of the Lu family, Lu Gang, stood up and greeted him with a smile. Lu Yiping nodded his head, not bothering to greet Wang Haozhe as he walked to his seat and sat down. Wang Haozhe stared fixedly at Lu Yiping, neither joy nor anger could be seen on his face as he spoke. "On the day of the Lu family's sacred assembly, my grandson Wang Tao came with my Wang clan to congratulate the Lu family. My Wang clan had good intentions, but who would have thought that my grandson Wang Tao would be injured by fellow Taoist Lu Yiping, crippling his foundation?" What does fellow Taoist Lu Yiping mean by this? Moreover, as far as I know, Wang Tao did not offend fellow Taoist Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping, please give my Wang clan an explanation. Give me, Wang Haozhe, an explanation. Wang Haozhe's tone became heavier as he spoke. In an instant, the hall became tense. The Lu family's experts felt their palms sweating. Explanation. Lu Yiping remained indifferent, as if he did not see the killing intent in Wang Haozhe's eyes. He asked leisurely, "What kind of explanation do you want me to give you?" Wang Haozhe's face sank when he saw Lu Yiping's carefree attitude, as if he did not take his words to heart. "Wang Tao is my most beloved grandson, I have spent countless resources on him." Then his tone changed. "Your Lu family has to compensate, right?" Before Lu Yiping could say anything, Lu Gang smiled and said, "Of course. Compensation is a given." Wang Haozhe suddenly said, 20,000 strands of grand mist aura. What? Lu Gang, Lu Yongji, and the rest stuttered, 20,000 strands of grand mist aura? Wang Haozhe looked at Lu Yiping. Based on fellow Taoist Lu Yiping's wealth, 20,000 strands of grand mist aura is not a lot for fellow Taoist Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping looked at Wang Haozhe and sneered, "Patriarch Wang's information is really fast." Clearly, Wang Haozhe knew about his transaction with Peng Dongyuan at the Eternal Chamber of Commerce. Otherwise, Wang Haozhe wouldn't ask for 20,000 strands of grand mist aura, and only ask for grand mist aura. Wang Haozhe laughed, "That's right, I know about your transaction with Peng Dongyuan at the Eternal Chamber of Commerce. Fellow Taoist Lu Yiping can easily take out 20,000 strands of grand mist aura, so I want 20,000 strands of grand mist aura now. It's not a lot, right?" Lu Gang, Lu Yongji, and the rest looked at Lu Yiping in shock. They understood Wang Haozhe's words. A few days ago, Lu Yiping went to the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's headquarters to make a transaction with Peng Dongyuan and used 20,000 strands of grand mist aura? Wang Haozhe continued, "Also, this matter started because of your younger sister, Lu Jiqing. I want your younger sister to kneel and apologize to Wang Tao." Hearing Wang Haozhe's words, Lu Yiping's cold voice sounded, 20,000 strands of grand mist aura is indeed not a lot to me, but I won't give you a single strand of grand mist aura. Moreover, my younger sister will never apologize." Hearing Lu Yiping say that he wouldn't even give him a strand of grand mist aura, Wang Haozhe was angered to the point of laughing. He glared fiercely at Lu Yiping, a sinister smile on his face. "So you're saying that my grandson deserves to be crippled? That we're going to let this matter rest?" Behind Wang Haozhe, Wang Tao glared hatefully at Lu Yiping. "That's right." Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged. Wang Haozhe stood up angrily. Lu Gang, Lu Yongji, and the rest jumped in fright. "Patriarch Wang, it's a misunderstanding, we definitely didn't mean that," Lu Gang hurriedly explained. Wang Haozhe didn't look at Lu Gang but at Lu Yiping. After a while he sneered, "Fine. You won't even give me a strand of grand mist aura. My grandson isn't even worth a strand of grand mist aura." Then he turned to Lu Gang, "Since that's the case, don't blame my Wang family for being ruthless." Turning to the group of Wang family experts, he ordered, "Let's go." Wang Haozhe strode away. The group of Wang family experts followed closely behind. Lu Gang chased after Wang Haozhe, wanting to explain, but Wang Haozhe didn't even turn his head as he sped away. Lu Gang watched Wang Haozhe's group leave in a daze. After Wang Haozhe left, he turned to the experts around him. "Pass down my order, cripple all Lu family disciples in my Wang family's territory, then throw them out of my Wang family's territory." The group of experts around Wang Haozhe was stunned. "Patriarch Wang Haozhe means now?" One of the Wang family experts asked cautiously. "Now?" Wang Haozhe's eyes were frosty. "Also, send people to keep an eye on Lu Jiqing. The moment she leaves the Lu family's territory, send people to cripple her." "Lord Patriarch, that's not good, right?" One of the Wang family grand elders hesitated. "I heard Lu Yiping dotes on his little sister, Lu Jiqing, very much." Wang Haozhe sneered, "Lu Yiping? That's exactly what I want him to do. I want him to go crazy and lure him to my Wang family's territory." Chapter 447. Patriarch is wise. One of the Wang family's grand elders flattered. Indifferent, Wang Haozhe smiled. "Lu Pailin has surrendered to the demon race. When the time comes, spread the news that many of the Lu family's people have already surrendered to the demon race." The Wang family's grand elder's eyes lit up. "At that time, our Wang family won't even need to do anything. The Chaos World's experts will attack the Lu family together." Wang Haozhe smiled, "That's right." After the Wang family's group left, Lu Yiping went to his sister Lu Jiqing's courtyard. Lu Jiqing was practicing her swordsmanship with the holy sword he had given her a few days ago. Sword chi crisscrossed, and within the sword light, there were faint images of the sun and moon. This swordsmanship was also taught to her by Lu Yiping in the past few days. Lu Yiping nodded inwardly when he saw his sister's swordsmanship. Although it had only been a few days, his sister's swordsmanship had improved a lot. Big brother, Lu Jiqing stopped her swordsmanship when she saw Lu Yiping and walked over with a smile. Lu Yiping smiled, "Your swordsmanship is not bad. However, you need to observe the rhythm of the sun and moon frequently to cultivate this set of sun and moon swordsmanship to perfection." "I know, big brother," Lu Jiqing smiled sweetly, then took Lu Yiping's arm and walked to the stone table with Lu Yiping and sat down. Lu Yiping smiled, "That Tao fruit, you haven't swallowed it yet?" Lu Jiqing smiled, "I'm only at the early heavenly venerable realm. Swallowing that Tao fruit is too wasteful, so I plan to wait until I break through to the late or peak heavenly venerable realm before swallowing and refining it." Lu Yiping shook his head, "There's no need for that. Big brother still has more of this kind of Tao fruit. You can swallow and refine it now. Big brother will stand guard for you. After your realm stabilizes, Big brother will give you another one." "Swallow and refine it now?" Lu Jiqing was stunned. Lu Yiping nodded. He had learned from Peng Dongyuan that his good fortune jade disc was found in the wasteland of the universe. Peng Dongyuan had given him a message indicating the specific location. Therefore, Lu Yiping planned to go to the wasteland of the universe to see if he could find other good fortune jade discs. Therefore, before going to the outskirts of the universe, he wanted to improve Lu Jiqing's strength as much as possible. Moments later, Lu Jiqing took out the Tao fruit and swallowed it under Lu Yiping's protection. She began to circulate her cultivation method to refine it. Soon, Lu Jiqing's entire body surged with light. Strands of light of the great Tao floated and flickered around her. Lu Yiping was a celestial lord, but he was surrounded by holy qi. It was the holy qi of the fruit of the way, the power of the great path, and the original power of the saintly body. Originally, with Lu Jiqing's strength as a celestial lord, it would be very difficult and slow to refine the Tao fruit of a saint like Lu Yiping. However, under the cover of Lu Yiping's holy qi, Lu Jiqing's refining was very smooth and fast. The holy qi of the great path, the power of the great path, and the original power of the saintly body flowed into Lu Jiqing's divine meridians, sea of qi and spiritual sea. Lu Jiqing's aura grew stronger almost every few minutes. Only a month had passed. With Lu Yiping's help, Lu Jiqing had successfully refined it. Without Lu Yiping's help, Lu Jiqing would not have been able to refine it in hundreds or even thousands of years. However, Lu Yiping was afraid that his sister's realm would be unstable. Therefore, he left most of the holy qi, the power of the great path, and the original power of the saintly body in Lu Jiqing's body. In the future, as Lu Jiqing cultivated, these holy qi, the power of the great path, and the original power of the saintly body would continuously surge out and help her improve quickly. Seeing that his sister had successfully refined it, Lu Yiping planned to head to the outskirts of the universe. However, as soon as he stepped out of his sister's courtyard, he heard the sorrowful and angry cries of many Lu family disciples. When Lu Yiping heard this, he learned that all the Lu family disciples who had entered the Wang family's territory had had their cultivation crippled by the Wang family and thrown out of the Wang family's territory. Although it had only been a month, tens of thousands of Lu family disciples had been crippled. In the Lu family's main hall, Lu Gang, Lu Yiping, and a few others were sitting. "Wang Haozhe has gone too far." Lu Gang slammed the table angrily. These crippled disciples were not just the Lu family's ordinary disciples. Many of them were core disciples of the Lu family. Even one of his grandsons had been murdered. Lu Yiping complained, "If it weren't for Lu Yiping, so many of our Lu family disciples would not have been murdered by the Wang family. We used to have some friendship with the Wang family, but now it's broken and we have a grudge against them." Lu Bing also complained, "If it weren't for Lu Yiping's stubbornness, this would not have happened." Lu Gang did not reply, but he was also very unhappy with Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping had only been back for a month, but the Lu family was already in chaos. Not only did they lose two Saint King realm experts, but they also had a grudge against the Wang family. "When will the solitary ancestor return?" Lu Yiping asked Lu Gang. "I've already reported the Lu family's recent events to the solitary ancestor. However, he still needs a month to return," Lu Gang said. Right now, he was also anxiously waiting for the solitary ancestor to return and take charge of the Lu family. The solitary ancestor was the Lu family's #1 expert. He was already a high-level Saint King, and his auspicious cloud had already reached 10 mu. As long as the solitary ancestor returns, Lu Yiping won't be able to do as he pleases. Lu Yongji said coldly, at that time, he will be punished by the solitary ancestor. Killing the family's saint and saint king, ignoring the family's rules, this alone is enough to warrant the death penalty. The next day Lu Yiping left the Lu family. Before leaving the Lu family, Lu Yiping reminded his sister not to leave the Lu family's main residence after he left, and to look for the snow ancestor if she needed help. Lu Jiqing memorized Lu Yiping's words. Not long after Lu Yiping left the Lu family, the King of Chaos disciple Kong Qing received news that Lu Yiping had left the Lu family. Kong Qing, who had been waiting for Lu Yiping to leave the Lu family, was excited when he heard the news. Do you know which direction Lu Yiping went? Where is he going? He asked his disciples Qin Delin and Chao Ning. Qin Delin quickly answered, after leaving the Lu family's territory, Lu Yiping went in the direction of the Azure Dragon Sea. Azure Dragon Sea, Kong Qing muttered to himself. A moment later, 8 figures soared into the air and left Kong Qing's palace. This time, Kong Qing didn't bring many people with him. Other than him, Qin Delin and Chao Ning, there were 5 Saint Kings. These 5 Saint Kings were all experts under Kong Qing's command. They were loyal to him and there was no need to worry about them leaking information. Of course, these 5 Saint Kings weren't weak either. One of them was almost as strong as Kong Qing. Kong Qing had already cultivated to more than 4 mu. Kong Qing and the others rushed towards the Azure Dragon Sea. He wanted to reach the Azure Dragon Sea before Lu Yiping did, and then set up an inescapable net. Lu Yiping, the Azure Dragon Sea will be your burial ground. Qin Delin spat. Kong Qing could feel his disciples' hatred and said, don't worry, Lu Yiping won't be able to escape. Not to mention his strength, just the 5 Saint Kings under him were enough to kill Lu Yiping. Chapter 448. The Azure Dragon Sea was located at the south of the Chaos World, and it was also the only way to reach the southern Desolation City. After leaving the Lu family, Lu Yiping did not stop and soon arrived at the Myriad Dragons Mountain. Not far from the Myriad Dragons Mountain was the Azure Dragon Sea. It was nighttime. Inside a certain valley, Lu Yiping raised a bonfire and summoned the Sun Fusang tree. He then cut the beast meat he had prepared into pieces and tossed them into the Sun Fusang tree. These pieces of beast meat flew through the air in a perfect arc, passing through the Sun Fusang tree's true sun fire before falling to the ground. They were fully cooked and emitted a tempting fragrance. Looking at the beast meat falling from the Sun Fusang tree, Lu Yiping couldn't help but think of Taurus Longjiao. Using the Sun Fusang tree to roast the meat, using the Sun Fusang tree for shade, these ideas were all Xiao Jin's. He wondered how Xiao Jin was doing in the lower realm. In Lu Yiping's long years of cultivation, Taurus Longjiao had spent the most time with him. Even his sister and parents did not spend as much time with him as Taurus Longjiao. While Lu Yiping was eating the beast meat and drinking the 10,000 dragons holy wine, he suddenly heard the sound of whistling wind. However, he had already set up a concealment formation in this valley, so he wasn't worried that someone would discover him. Master, the Azure Dragon Sea is not far ahead. At this time, a familiar voice sounded from afar. Lu Yiping was stunned when he heard Qin Delin's voice. Let's speed up, we must reach the Azure Dragon Sea before Lu Yiping and set up the 3,000 Archdevils formation. Another voice sounded. With Lu Yiping's speed, he should be able to reach the Azure Dragon Sea in 3 to 4 days. In the distance, Kong Qing, Qin Delin and Chao Ning's group of 8 flew over the valley and left. When they were flying over the valley, one of the Saint King experts glanced at the valley, but in his eyes, the valley was empty. Watching Kong Qing, Qin Delin and Chao Ning's group of 8 flying away and disappearing in the end, Lu Yiping's eyes turned cold. Azure Dragon Siege. 3,000 Demon Gods formation. Lu Yiping sneered. Kong Qing thought that he would need 3 or 4 days to reach the Azure Dragon Sea. However, Kong Qing probably didn't expect that he had already arrived. After refining Lu Pailan's Dao fruit, his speed increased greatly. Lu Yiping soared into the air, circling around Kong Qing and the others, and then headed towards the Azure Dragon Sea at full speed. Didn't Kong Qing and the others plan to set up the 3,000 demonic god formation in the Azure Dragon Sea to deal with him? Then he would rush to the Azure Dragon Sea first and set up the Immortal Heavenly Wood formation. The Immortal Heavenly Wood array was a heaven-opening array that Lu Yiping had comprehended from the creation tree's great Dao patterns. It could be said to be the strongest wood-type array in the myriad of worlds. However, in order to set up this Immortal Heavenly Wood formation, Jianshu was required to be the eye of the formation. Once the immortal skywood array was completed, Kong Qing and the others would definitely die if they entered it. Unless Kong Qing and the others could cut through the creation tree, they wouldn't be able to escape. Under Lu Yiping's swift flight, Lu Yiping soon arrived at the Azure Dragon Sea. The moment he reached the Azure Dragon Sea, Lu Yiping increased his speed to set up the immortal heavenly wood formation. With Kong Qing and the others' speed, it would take them at most half an hour to reach the Azure Dragon Sea. Therefore Huang Xiaolong had to finish setting up the array within half an hour. If it were just Lu Yiping alone, it would be very difficult to set up the immortal heavenly wood formation in half an hour. However, Lu Yiping had the creation tree. Lu Yiping summoned the creation tree. Under Lu Yiping's control, the creation tree emitted a bright light. Great Dao runes condensed from the tree's leaves one after another, falling from the sky like a rainstorm. How many leaves did the creation tree have? Within a breath's time, countless Great Dao runes emerged from the tree's leaves. Even if there were 10 Lu Yiping condensing Great Dao runes, their speed was still slower than the creation tree. Several minutes later, the Great Dao runes condensed by the creation tree were like stars in the sky. There were trillions of them covering the entire Azure Dragon Sea. Subsequently, Lu Yiping waved his hands, and these Great Dao runes condensed and linked together, forming a giant radiant tree. Immediately after, these giant glowing trees hid in the void. Lu Yiping and Jianshu's body also hid in the void and disappeared. After hiding in the void, Lu Yiping waited patiently. Roughly 20 minutes later, Kong Qing, Qin Delin and Chao Ning's figures appeared on the horizon. Soon the 8 of them arrived in front of the Azure Dragon Sea. Kong Qing looked at the boundless Azure Dragon Sea and said, "The Azure Dragon Sea's water is still as clear as before." He then added, "Unfortunately, it will soon be dyed red with blood." Of course, it was Lu Yiping's blood. Kong Qing led the group into the Azure Dragon Sea, arriving in the air above it. "Everyone make your move," Kong Qing said to the 5 Holy King Realm experts under him. "Set up the 3,000 Archdevils formation, it's faster this way." The 5 Holy King Realm experts nodded. Just as Kong Qing and the others were about to make their move, a giant golden bell appeared in the void. The golden bell fell from the void at lightning speed. Kong Qing and the others raised their heads in shock and saw the giant golden bell falling from the sky. At this time, the sound of a bell reverberated through heaven and earth. Dong. Following the reverberating sound of the bell, heaven and earth seemed to be struck. Kong Qing and the other Holy King Realm experts were shaken. Qin Delin and Chao Ning spurted out mouthfuls of blood. In just a split second, Kong Qing and the others' minds were injured. "Chaos Bell? It's Lu Yiping." Kong Qing roared and was about to make a move, but at this time hundreds of millions of tree branches whipped towards the 8 Holy King Realm experts from the void. These tree branches covered the sky, completely covering the sky above the Azure Dragon Sea. Kong Qing and the others were alarmed. In an instant, the auspicious clouds spread out and attacked with full force. 8 people, 6 Holy King Realm experts and 2 Peak True Saint Realm experts, roared with overwhelming power, blasting away layers of tree branches. Even so, Kong Qing and the others were still pushed back by the Chaos Bell. Kong Qing's group of 6 was still fine, but Qin Delin and Chao Ning were only Peak True Saints. How could they resist the Chaos Bell? While Kong Qing and the others were pushed back by the Chaos Bell, a blue-robed figure appeared in the sky above. Lu Yiping. Qin Delin and Chao Ning were enraged. Kong Qing roared, "Lu Yiping, you're courting death." Since becoming the king of chaos Long Cheng's disciple, no one had dared to kill him. However, just as Kong Qing's words fell, Lu Yiping appeared in front of him in a flicker, and Lu Yiping punched out. Kong Qing's eyes were sharp, and his fist met Huang Xiaolong's attack. Rumble. The Azure Dragon Sea's surface was lifted up. On the other hand, Kong Qing was pushed back again and again, retreating several li before he could regain his footing. What? The others were shocked seeing that Kong Qing was pushed back by Lu Yiping. Kong Qing was also in disbelief. He had estimated Lu Yiping's strength, and it was impossible for Lu Yiping to be this strong. Chapter 449. In this 1 month, Lu Yiping's strength had grown even stronger. Moreover, his strength had increased by several times. Just as Kong Qing was bewildered, he suddenly saw an unimaginably huge tree appear behind Lu Yiping's back. Looking at this towering tree that was as thick as a continent, Kong Qing, Qin Delin, Chao Ning, and the rest were astounded. Creation tree? The moment he saw the creation tree, Kong Qing suddenly understood the reason behind Lu Yiping's sudden increase in strength. So that's the reason. Kong Qing looked at the roiling grand mist aura around the creation tree, and his eyes burned with uncontrollable fervor, no fanaticism. Qin Delin and Chao Ning knew that Lu Yiping had a lot of grand mist aura on him, maybe even several 100,000 strands. Now, looking at the grand mist aura that numbered in the hundreds of millions, one could imagine how shocked they were. At this time, the 5 holy kings under Kong Qing's command attacked at the same time, attacking Lu Yiping. Just as they were about to hit Lu Yiping, the chaos bell above Lu Yiping's head vibrated, and the sun, moon, mountains and rivers revolved, forming a bell-shaped defensive barrier. The 5 holy kings' attacks landed on the bell-shaped defensive barrier. A loud boom resounded. The bell-shaped defensive barrier shattered, but Lu Yiping was still standing there, unharmed. The auspicious cloud above his head, and his body was engraved with Grand Dao runes, not moving an inch. Seeing this result, the 5 holy kings were shocked. Kong Qing's face sank when he saw the 3 mu of auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head. Suddenly, Lu Yiping took a step forward, arriving in front of one of the holy kings and punched. This holy king was much weaker than Lu Yiping. How could he withstand Lu Yiping's punch? He was sent flying by Lu Yiping's punch. Kill? Kill Lu Yiping. The creation tree is ours, we'll split the grand mist aura equally. Kong Qing snapped out of his daze and shouted excitedly. A large saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed at Lu Yiping. When the large saber slashed out, an unparalleled golden flame saber light cut through space, reaching Lu Yiping's head. This large saber was called the Golden Flame Saber, a treasure bestowed to him by his master, the King of Chaos. This golden flame saber actually slashed the Chaos Bell's defensive barrier. However, at this moment, Lu Yiping flicked his hands and scattered the saber light. Lu Yiping's finger shot out. Following Lu Yiping's finger attack, Mount Buzhou shot towards Kong Qing, expanding in size as it arrived in front of Kong Qing. Even Huang Xiaolong's attack. Lu Yiping's Grand Dao energy shone brightly. With a wave of his hand, 2,900 Grand Dao energy turned into a sea of Grand Dao energy, drowning the others. At the same time, under Lu Yiping's control, the immortal heavenly wood array was activated. Countless heavenly wood fell from the sky, bombarding Kong Qing's group of 8. These heavenly wood were condensed from the creation tree's Grand Dao runes. The power of 1 Grand Dao rune might not be much, but the power of 1,000,000, 10,000,000, or even 100,000,000 Grand Dao runes gathered together was terrifying. The heavenly wood falling from the sky covered the entire Azure Dragon Sea. Kong Qing's group of 8 had nowhere to run, they could only resist. Facing the overwhelming heavenly wood, Kong Qing's group of 6 staggered back, battered and exhausted. Qin Delin and Chao Ning couldn't withstand the overwhelming heavenly wood. In less than a breath's time, their bodies were pierced through by the heavenly wood. Their chests were pierced through by the heavenly wood, and they were sent flying. Blood rained down from the sky, dyeing the Azure Dragon Sea's surface red. Lu Yiping took a step forward, arriving in front of Huang Xiaolong and Chao Ning. His palms struck their chests, sealing their energy before throwing them into the heaven and earth cauldron. Qin Delin and Chao Ning were both peak true saints. Huang Xiaolong wouldn't let them die so easily. The Dao fruits they had condensed could be given to his sister, Lu Jiqing, to refine. Delin Chao Ning. Kong Qing bellowed in anger seeing his disciples being taken away by Lu Yiping. He lunged at Lu Yiping in a frenzy, but his attack was blocked by the Holy King of Heaven's mount just as it reached Lu Yiping. Huang Xiaolong's golden flame saber landed on the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou. After fusing with the Eternal Chamber of Commerce's Mount Buzhou stone, the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou had reached 140,000 zhang tall, exuding a shocking amount of innate qi. The golden flame saber landed on the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou, but the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou only suffered a small dent. To the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou, this small dent was a drop in the ocean. Seeing that his golden flame saber couldn't even break through the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou's defenses, Kong Qing was both shocked and angered. "Lord, you must leave quickly." One of Kong Qing's subordinates suddenly shouted, "Inform Lord King of Chaos, ask him to save us." "That's right, Lord, we'll stop Lu Yiping, you escape." Another Holy King agreed. Seeing that he couldn't even break through the Holy King of Heaven's Mount Buzhou's defenses, Kong Qing knew that he couldn't kill Lu Yiping with just the few of them. Thus, he didn't hesitate to flee, leaving the 5 Holy Kings under him to deal with Lu Yiping. The 5 Holy Kings under Kong Qing attacked Lu Yiping. Seeing that Kong Qing wanted to escape, Lu Yiping didn't stop him. Now the entire Azure Dragon Sea was enveloped by his immortal skywood formation. Kong Qing couldn't escape at all. Since Kong Qing wanted to escape, he would let him escape. Moreover, this way Kong Qing and the other 5 Holy Kings' forces would be scattered. At that time, it would be much easier for him to deal with the remaining 5 Holy Kings. After dealing with the 5 Holy Kings, he would deal with Kong Qing. Seeing the 5 Holy Kings surrounding him, Lu Yiping's figure flashed, arriving in front of the weakest Holy King. With a wave of his hands, a sky full of light condensed, like falling stars, bombarding the other party. While the other party was retreating in fear, Lu Yiping swung the Soul Crusher Thorn in his hand. The Holy King couldn't dodge and was stabbed in the chest by the Soul Crusher Thorn. The Soul Crusher Thorn was the Devil Race's most precious treasure. In an instant, it pierced through the Holy King's armor and entered his chest. The other party froze. The Soul Crusher Thorn. His eyes were filled with fear. Of course, he was clear about the Devil Race's most precious treasure, the Soul Crusher Thorn, and how terrifying it was. Chenbai. Seeing this, the other 4 Holy Kings shouted in shock and anger, rushing over. But just as the 4 of them rushed over, they were forced back by the sky full of heavenly wood. They couldn't get close at all. Lu Yiping took the opportunity to seal the other party's power and threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth. After dealing with the weakest Holy King, Lu Yiping looked at the weakest Holy King and attacked. As for the fleeing Kong Qing, he discovered that no matter how he flew, there was always an endless sky of heavenly wood in front of him. There was no end to the sky of heavenly wood condensed from great Tao symbols. He slashed wildly with the golden flame saber in his hand, sending a large swath of heavenly wood flying. But no matter how he slashed with the golden flame saber in his hand, no matter how he flew, he couldn't see the sky beyond the Azure Dragon Sea. He roared angrily, flying into the sky. But he couldn't fly out of the heavenly wood space. What the F***ck is this great formation? He roared. Chapter 450. Kong Qing's furious roar shook the waters of the Azure Dragon Sea and even killed many small fish and shrimps at the bottom of the sea. However, no one responded to him. What kind of F***king formation was this? In fact, not to mention Kong Qing, even his master, the King of Chaos, would not know what kind of formation this was. This formation was comprehended by Lu Yiping himself from the creation tree. It could be said that Lu Yiping created it himself, and this was the first time he used it. Only Lu Yiping knew what kind of formation this was. On the other side, Lu Yiping quickly dealt with another Saint King. Only 3 people were left. Among the remaining 3, the clouds had condensed above 3 acres, and each of their battle prowess was above Lu Yiping's. However, Lu Yiping was not in a hurry. He had the Bell of Chaos and the immortal skywood art. His defense was invincible and they could not hurt him at all. Moreover, he had the immortal skywood formation, so he was not worried that they could escape. Just like before, Lu Yiping still chose the weakest of the 3 to attack. In less than half an hour, Lu Yiping dealt with another person. When there were only 2 left, Kong Qing, who had fled previously, turned back. When the remaining 2 saw that Kong Qing had turned back and did not escape, they could not help but feel despair after the surprise. Originally, they had pinned their hopes on Kong Qing, hoping that Kong Qing could contact the King of Chaos to come and save them. Now Kong Qing could not even escape. When Kong Qing, who had returned, saw that only 2 of the 5 Saint Kings he had brought were left, he could not help but feel a chill in his heart. He was completely flustered. He had never been so terrified before. He could see that Lu Yiping had made up his mind to kill him. Kong Qing, who had returned, looked at Lu Yiping in horror. He did not attack but said, "Lu Yiping, are you really going to be so ruthless?" Lu Yiping looked at him as if he had heard a joke. Kong Qing's face turned red. He took a deep breath and said, "If something happens to me, my master will definitely use all the forces of the Chaos Realm to find out the reason. He will definitely find you. How about this? How about we make peace? If you let me go, I will be your ally in the future. I control the largest mining business in the primal Chaos Realm. We can work together and make a fortune in the future." Lu Yiping sneered, "Only a few of you know about your plan this time, right?" Kong Qing choked. Therefore, Lu Yiping was not worried at all that the King of Chaos would find out about him. Lu Yiping asked again, "The biggest mining business in the Chaos Realm? Do you think I'm short of money?" Kong Qing looked at Jian Shu's churning primordial qi, which probably contained billions of primordial qi, and choked again. With so much nebulous primordial energy, Lu Yiping really did not lack money. Moreover, Jianshu could continuously produce primordial qi every day. It was no exaggeration to say that Lu Yiping was now the richest man in the chaotic realm. Even Yi Wuchen, who owned the #1 restaurant in the chaotic realm, was not as rich as Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping activated the immortal heavenly wood array. Immediately, the heavenly wood in the sky blasted towards Kong Qing and the other two. Kong Qing looked at the heavenly wood that blotted out the sky and the earth, and his expression changed. He could not hide the fear in his eyes. Although they had been trapped for less than 2 hours, they were truly afraid of this heavenly tree. Their fear had seeped into their bones. The heavenly wood was simply inexhaustible and it covered the sky. Its power was terrifying and its attack was extremely strong. If they were not careful, they would be sent flying. Kong Qing retreated in panic while blocking. Lu Yiping, what kind of array is this? Kong Qing could not help but ask in shock and anger. He liked to study array formations and boasted that he was proficient in array formations, but he had never heard of the array in front of him. However, the array in front of him was undoubtedly at the level of opening the sky. Immortal heavenly wood array. Lu Yiping was not worried that Kong Qing and the other two could escape. He did not hide it and said, "I comprehended it from Jianshu. If you want to break the array, you can only break Jianshu to escape. Or you have to kill me." Another half an hour passed and only Kong Qing was left. Kong Qing had 8 people and 6 sage kings, but now only Kong Qing was left holding on alone. After Kong Qing was left alone, Lu Yiping felt much more relaxed. He controlled the Bell of Chaos, Mao Buzhou and Jianshu to attack in turns. Soon Kong Qing was covered in blood. Looking at the dying Kong Qing, Lu Yiping stopped. Kong Qing suddenly smiled sadly. To think that I, Kong Qing, have dominated the world all my life. I didn't expect that I would fall at the hands of a small junior of the Lu family. Kong Qing was already famous in the primordial era and had cultivated for hundreds of millions of years. To him, Lu Yiping was really a small junior. Blame yourself for being too greedy. Lu Yiping walked towards the other party and punched out, sending Kong Qing flying and smashing into the Azure Dragon Sea. It was as if a super-nuclear bomb had been dropped on the Azure Dragon Sea, causing tens of thousands of waves to explode. Lu Yiping pulled the other party out of the sea with one hand. At this time, Kong Qing had completely lost the ability to resist. Lu Yiping sealed the other party's power, then threw him into the cauldron of heaven and earth, took back Jianshu, removed the immortal skywood array, and wiped away all traces of the battle before leaving. Now Lu Yiping had to find a place to go into seclusion. This time, when he refined the Tao fruit of Kong Qing and the other 6 sage kings, to what extent would his strength increase? Lu Yiping could not help but look forward to it. A few days later, Lu Yiping came to a primeval forest. After setting up a formation in the primeval forest, he threw Kong Qing and the others out, summoned Jianshu, and began to devour the 8 people's saint power, Tao power, and the origin power of the saint physique. Soon, 8 fruits of Tao were born on the tree of achievement. The 2 white ones were from Qin Delan and Chao Ning. The 6 yellow ones were from Kong Qing and the other 6 sage kings. Lu Yiping first swallowed Kong Qing's Tao fruit. When Lu Yiping refined Kong Qing's Tao fruit, his auspicious cloud broke through 5 mu, and his Saint King energy finally reached 500 million units. Then Lu Yiping swallowed the Tao fruit of the Sage King whose strength was close to Kong Qing's. After Lu Yiping refined 4 Sage King grade Tao fruits in a row, his auspicious cloud broke through again and again, reaching 9 mu, infinitely close to 10 mu. When Lu Yiping refined the 5th Sage King grade Tao fruit, his auspicious cloud broke through 10 mu, infinitely close to 11 mu. Whether it was in the Saint realm or the Saint King realm, 11 mu was an extremely important dividing line. Many saints and saint kings were stuck at 10 mu, unable to break through. For example, the Lu family's solitary ancestor had been stuck at 10 mu for nearly 100 million years, unable to break through to 11 mu. However, after Lu Yiping refined the last Sage King grade Tao fruit, his auspicious cloud, which was infinitely close to 11 mu, suddenly expanded and smoothly broke through to 11 mu. The Lu family's strongest powerhouse, the solitary ancestor, had been unable to break through to 11 mu, but now, Lu Yiping had broken through. This meant that from now on, Lu Yiping was the strongest powerhouse in the Lu family. Chapter 451. Lu Yiping did not refine Qin Delan and Chao Ning's Tao fruits after refining Kong Qing's and the others' Tao fruits. At his current realm, Qin Delan and Chao Ning's Tao fruits were of little use to him. Lu Yiping retrieved Kong Qing's and the others' memory fragments and began to read them. Although Jianshu had devoured several Holy King Realm cultivators' Dao fruits, he did not kill Kong Qing's group. After reading Kong Qing's memory fragments, Lu Yiping confirmed that there was no ninth person who knew about the Azure Dragon Sea's matter. Only then did he kill Kong Qing's group with a finger. Lu Yiping stood up, removed the formation and sped away, continuing his journey to the universe's boundary. In this manner, Lu Yiping practiced the immortal Skywood technique as he hurried on his way. Occasionally he would stop at night to use the Sun Fusang tree to roast meat and drink wine. After an unknown amount of time, a boundless city appeared in Lu Yiping's line of sight. This was the southern desolate city in the universe's boundary. There were 4 major cities in the universe's boundary, divided into north, south, east, and west. Each city was guarded by hundreds of millions of human troops. It was because of these 4 cities that the devil race and barbarian race could not easily invade human territory. The southern desolate city was huge. Just this city alone was equivalent to several tens of thousands of continents in the immortal world. Although the southern desolate city was close to the universe's boundary, it was not desolate. On the contrary, it was bustling with activity. Residences and shops stood in great numbers inside the city, and there was an endless stream of experts from various sects and families. Moreover, there were many caravans. Beyond the southern desolate city was the universe's boundary. In the universe's boundary, there were rare chaos spiritual herbs and even grand mist spiritual herbs. There were also many creatures from the desolate era and even the creation era. There were endless cultivation resources and business opportunities. Therefore, there were many caravans coming to the southern desolate city. Lu Yiping followed the stream of people into the southern desolate city. In general, those who entered the southern desolate city from human territory would not be interrogated by the army, but if they returned from the universe's boundary, the interrogation would be extremely strict. The heaven-earth dark yellow exquisite pagoda really appeared? How can it be fake? Some people saw it with their own eyes. If it's not the heaven-earth dark yellow exquisite pagoda, how can there be such a shocking amount of yellow qi? That's not necessarily true. I heard that Jianshu can also produce Shenhuang qi. Not long after Lu Yiping entered the southern desolate city, he heard many experts discussing the mysterious yellow heaven-earth exquisite pagoda. The dark yellow pagoda of heaven and earth? Lu Yiping muttered to himself. The Shen yellow heaven-earth exquisite pagoda was a chaos treasure in the universe. Its defense was very strong. Its defense was almost the same as the chaos bell. Some people said the chaos bell was the best defense treasure in the universe, but some people said the Shen yellow heaven-earth exquisite pagoda was the best defense treasure in the universe. This showed the defensive power of the dark yellow pagoda of heaven and earth. Furthermore, the mysterious yellow pagoda of heaven and earth had 9 layers of space, which could trap powerful enemies. From the discussions of some experts, Lu Yiping learned that the mysterious yellow jewel pagoda had only appeared for a brief moment and had already disappeared. However, even so, experts from all over still came after hearing the news. Just as Lu Yiping arrived at southern Desolation City, the king of chaos Long Cheng's eldest disciple Chen Lingqiao, second disciple Lu Jiang, and third disciple Duli also received the news of the heaven and earth mysterious yellow pagoda's appearance and rushed to southern Desolation City. Moreover, they had already arrived at southern Desolation City. Still haven't contacted fourth junior brother? Chen Lingqiao asked second junior brother Lu Jiang. He was referring to Kong Qing. Lu Jiang shook his head. There hasn't been any reply. I've sent people to investigate. Fourth junior brother and the 5 Saint Kings under him, as well as Chen Delin and Chao Ning, went missing after leaving their caves a few days ago. No one knows where they went. Chen Lingqiao frowned. Fourth junior brother and the others had gone missing for so many days. This was really unusual. Eldest senior brother, about fourth junior brother's disappearance, should we report it to master? Duli asked. In her opinion, Kong Qing and the others had most likely been killed. Otherwise, it was impossible for there to be no news for so many years. Chen Lingqiao knew what Duli meant, but he still found it hard to believe that someone dared to attack their fourth junior brother. Who was so bold as to attack their fourth junior brother? Could it be the devil race? Or the barbarian race? Master is in seclusion refining the good fortune jade disc. He said not to disturb him unless it's related to the chaos world's safety. Chen Lingqiao said solemnly, fourth junior brother's matter, I think the 3 of us should investigate first. If we really can't find anything, we'll report it to master. Lu Jiang and Duli nodded. The 3 of them led the group of experts under their command and rushed to the southern Desolation City. This time, the matter was related to the heaven and earth exquisite pagoda. The three of them brought a lot of Saint Kings with them. Each of them brought 5 Saint Kings, making a total of 15 Saint Kings. At the same time, somewhere in the outer reaches of the universe, inside the Devil Race's palace, someone reported to Devil Ancestor Rahu that they had found traces of Lu Yiping in the southern Desolation City. Lu Yiping had killed Lu Yiping and seized the Thorn of Scattered Souls. In the past few days, Devil Ancestor Rahu had been sending people to investigate Lu Yiping's whereabouts. Oh, he came to the southern Desolation City? Devil Ancestor Rahu was surprised, for the heaven and earth exquisite pagoda? One of Rahu's Saint King subordinates, Yin Feng, sneered, after killing our Devil Race's people, he actually dares to come to the southern Desolation City, courting death. Although Lu Yiping was only their Devil Race's dog, he was still a Saint King realm dog. The Devil Race naturally couldn't let this matter go, not to mention the Thorn of Scattered Souls was still in Lu Yiping's hands. Rahu glanced at Yin Feng and ordered, "You go to the southern Desolation City and bring Lu Yiping back to me. Remember, don't kill him first." Yin Feng respectfully said, "Lord Devil Ancestor, rest assured, this subordinate will definitely bring Lu Yiping back. In front of me he can't die even if he wants to." He was a top-level Saint King with 1 billion battle Saint King battle energy. A while later, Yin Feng sped away, rushing to the southern Desolation City. In the southern Desolation City, Lu Yiping arrived at the 10,000 Dragon Tavern based on his memory. The 10,000 Dragon Tavern also had a branch in the southern Desolation City, and it was an extremely important branch. After arriving at the 10,000 Dragon Tavern, Lu Yiping found an empty seat, then ordered 10,000 jugs of 10,000 Dragons sacred wine, which attracted the attention of many people. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Lu Yiping had just come out of the 10,000 Dragon Tavern when he was stopped by someone. The person who stopped him was the Wang family's head, Wang Haozhe, and a group of Wang family experts. This time, the mysterious yellow heaven-earth exquisite pagoda had appeared, and Wang Haozhe had also led many Wang family experts over. "Fellow Yiping, what a coincidence we meet again." Wang Haozhe stopped Lu Yiping and smiled. "Fellow Yiping is really rich, buying 10,000 jugs of 10,000 Dragons sacred wine in one go. If we want to drink a jug, we'll have to think twice." When Wang Haozhe said that Lu Yiping was rich, he was hinting at the fact that Lu Yiping had a large amount of primordial qi. "What's the matter?" Lu Yiping looked at him and said coldly, "Nothing." Wang Haozhe smiled and said, "I just saw you and came over to say hello." Then he led the Wang family experts away. After taking a few steps, he stopped again and said, "Fellow Yiping, are you here for the mysterious yellow heaven-earth exquisite pagoda? Then you'd better be careful, it's not safe outside the southern Desolation City." You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.